Okay then. So I wanted to start out tonight by telling you guys about this kid on TikTok. So I've followed
Okay.
him for a few months now. He's in the trans community. I found him, blah blah blah, and he was doing a video on his testosterone routine every day. And he's using the gel, and he's like rubbing the gel on his arm. I was like, well, dude, the injectables are faster. And he's like, oh no, no. I mean, everybody absorbs differently, but it's not fast. Like, okay. I said I just work at a medical office.
Mm-hmm.
My girlfriend's a provider, and my best friend referred to your meds. But okay, all right. Well, I'm glad you found what works for you. Peace out.
Yeah.
Like 19.
This is not like
Joel,
a
I don't know who
formal.
told you what, bro, but
Yeah.
go ahead, Ben.
I was
This is
gonna
not
bring in
like. Oh,
Jupit.
sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I just brought in Jupit. So we got the gang
Oh.
here.
So this isn't like a formal study or anything. This is totally anecdotal. But I have noticed from I've interacted with a lot of trans men over my time on the internet, and it does seem like people think the injections are faster. Like a lot of people have said that when they've had both and the injections were better for whatever reason, but I don't know if that's like an actual medical fact or if that's just
It,
like
it
people
is.
assume.
It's
Oh,
more
okay.
concentrated. So you get a higher
Okay.
percentage of it being testosterone, which is why you only do it once a week versus doing it every day. So
Yeah, see, this kid's putting this gel on that's 0.0 whatever percent.
which it's
And
good
he's
for
putting it
some
on
people.
every
Like if you
day, and it's
want,
like, oh, I
well,
don't have any facial hair yet.
but there might be some advantages depending on the person
Well,
to having a
yeah,
more gradual transition, but it depends on what you want out of your transition. So
right. And he said that to me, and I said, no, you're right. And not everybody wants to do it as quickly or whatever. Or somebody's maybe just looking for so much of it, and then I'm going to level off there, and I want to be more non-binary or whatever. And I get that.
yeah.
But that's not how he made his video sound.
Yeah.
Like it's just not how it came out. So I was like, well, you did injectables, blah blah. And you're right. I forgot. When I was 19, I knew everything too.
yep.
But it's all good. He'll figure it out.
I'm 26 and I still don't know shit.
Well, there you go. I mean, I'm 50 and I'm just finally learning shit. So I know lots of shit now.
Yeah.
It's accumulated over the years. So thanks everybody for coming tonight. And Ben said he had some topics he wanted to start off with. So let's hear what Ben's got. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, your audio is cutting out a little bit, but
oh, really?
Most of that. Yeah, it was just like,
huh.
Yeah, it just wasn't a consistent volume. I don't know if the connection's weird where you're at, but so here's my topic to start off with today, especially knowing Beck's backstory and mine as well. And I don't know how the other two of you might relate to this, but I'm sure that, the stereotype is out there that trans men are actually lesbians in denial. So I want to talk about just kind of experiences surrounding that, and then also just trying to help the audience understand a little bit of the difference between wanting to be with somebody and wanting to be somebody, because those are very different things.
So first of all, I'm bisexual. But I'm not like 50-50 bisexual. I'm like 92% I prefer men and like 8% I kind of like women. So the idea that I'm a lesbian in any capacity is really, really stupid. And I've had people say that to me before, especially like when I was growing up. I guess I gave off queer vibes very early because I always was a little bit masculine. So I got clocked as a, lesbian, and people would make comments, like usually very unflattering comments about me to that effect. And like even to the point where I thought I was a lesbian for a little while because I was just hearing it from everywhere. but it's not true. It is a stereotype, and it's not a stereotype that's grounded in fact. And I think that what Ben said is absolutely correct, that there is a huge difference between your personal assessment of identity and your external attraction to others. Like, you can have any identity and you can be attracted to any other identity. Those two things don't necessarily have any correlation at all. So, you can be non-binary and only like men. You could be, a guy and only like other guys. There is no causal link between those two things, and I don't understand why people think that there is.
Hmm.
And well, I
Right.
am.
Welcome to the fun, Jupit.
I don't know what's going on. I kind of been dead for like
Okay,
2
so
weeks.
the topic tonight, we're talking about trans guy stuff. So the topic is that trans guys or trans mask people are actually lesbians in denial.
No, moving on. Bye. End
That's
of
what I
it.
should have said.
End of it. I'm very.
Ugh.
I was gonna pass it off to Beck for a little bit because Beck did the whole tried to be a lesbian thing. I also did the try to be a lesbian thing, but
Same. No. Turns out
we can't
no.
hear you, Beck. Something's weird with Beck's audio tonight.
Yeah. If you need a second to sort out your audio, I would like to circle back because I left
Mhm.
out I got flustered, and so I left out half of what I was gonna say. But like this is used as a talking point in conjunction with the whole we're transing the kids so that they won't be gay, which is stupid. Very, very, very stupid, because it makes this massive assumption that it is in some way more socially acceptable to be trans than it is to be gay, and that is false. And I think
It's
that
very
probably
false.
everybody sitting on this panel can attest to the fact that that's false. Like, society is kind of slowly like boiling the frog to the point where we accept gay people. But like trans people, we still have people like actively saying that we should be sterilized or killed or, thrown in jail just for being trans, and that we're all inherently predators and this, that, and the other. I don't know how anybody who has been part of any discourse online could come to the conclusion that people want people to be trans.
Mhm.
And this is 100% used as a fulcrum to attack us with. But anyway, back to you.
Yeah, and so Jupit made a point in the private chat about the flip side of that. People who are trans, cishet people saying that they are straight and cis in denial, like if they just want to be gay. So then they end up
Me.
being trans.
Me.
Yeah.
Me. I'm just gonna block people every time they say it because it's the most fucking annoying shit in the world. Like, no, that wasn't very nice to say. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna be nice. Just gonna be nice. Gonna be nice. Moving on. Oh, I'm not gonna be nice. They're fucking stupid as hell. I want them to shut up, but
I'm coming around to the position that you don't have to be nice to people who aren't nice to you.
listen. It's 2022. I'm trying to use less curse words, but god fucking
No.
damn it, they are annoying. Anyhow.
So there was this phrase that kind of this joke thing, I guess, that like my childhood friends would say occasionally, that was like
Not
like my friends
appropriate.
who were guys would say, like, if I were the opposite sex, I would be gay because I'd be attracted to women and I'd be a woman attracted to women. And I would think about that as my AFAB self. I'll be like, well, if I was a guy I'd be straight. And then it took a while for me to figure out, okay, I like women. Like, that's me. I just admitted to myself that I like women. And I just let that slide for several years. I was like, nope, that can't be a thing. And I was like, oh, maybe that is my preference. And so then I started exploring like what I thought was my lesbian side. I was starting to date girls, starting to allow myself to have those feelings and explore that subculture too, because lesbian subculture is very big in the queer community, and something still wasn't right. Like, another piece of the puzzle was there in that I knew I was queer, but something still didn't really line up until I started questioning my gender identity. And then now it's weird because now that I'm on testosterone, am very bisexual, kind of in the opposite way from Larry, to where my preference tends to be women, but it's grown. Men are growing on me a little bit, so there's that. But it is interesting, the assumption that we just want to be with women, and
beeping?
so we change your gender identity. Oh yeah, we can hear you.
No. Oh, excuse me.
We can hear you back. I don't know if he can hear us.
I highly doubt it. Do you want me to eat my mic to make sure and see if it reverbs? Because I can't. That's a disappointing look. I don't know. I will not eat my mic. No contemplating because there's a chin rub.
I mean, I feel like if you eat your mic, you'll probably get an upset stomach.
Yeah, and probably an
I
obstruction.
eat like everything and anything. I'm a bottomless pit. I literally just ate stuffing, like for this.
Is that you admitting you're a top?
No.
You said you're a bottomless.
Oh, yep.
No, I'm not. But I am not. I am not. Go to hell. Like, screw you.
This would not be a guy's stream if we weren't making sex jokes, for real. I have to make at least one sex joke.
Oh no, but I don't know any.
It's
I'm
okay.
just say something stupid at some point.
Eventually, we'll say something really stupid, like that one raccoon picture that you showed me, or everybody in your Discord.
Oh, I need to show that meme to the. This is great for the stream, actually. I'm gonna pull it up.
Now?
Yes. I can hear you.
Finally.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
I had to go all the way into my settings and redo all of them. I don't know what the fuck happened.
You
Oh wow.
probably
Okay.
did.
Hi, I'm here now.
Hi, welcome.
This stream
Hi.
should be a Verizon commercial.
It already
You
is.
now?
I do want to say, no, it's more like a Aftershocks bone conductive headphone commercial. They work great when they work, but you have to have the settings right or they don't work. So you guys were talking about them saying that just confused lesbians or what. No, I'm going to tell you right now. I know a lot of lesbians. 20 years in the lesbian community. Lesbians don't want to be a guy. They don't want a penis. It's not the same thing at all.
Oh, yeah.
Not close. Like when I would make jokes about wanting one, they'd be like,
huh?
You're weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, not weird. They're just in the wrong group.
That's a mood.
Yeah, the
I have
lesbians
found
that
my
I
people.
know. Yeah, the lesbians I know all want to be like, they're happy being women. Like,
yeah,
they
they're
are
just
women.
very masculine women that are attracted to women. Or they're very feminine women who are attracted to women. Or they're very androgynous women that are attracted to women. There's all types.
That's honestly something that I haven't really talked about with people very much, is what it feels like to have like phantom junk. But
Oh, yeah.
you know, like the not just the feeling that like cosmetic things are incorrect. Like, you know, hairstyles and shirts can only do so much, but there's really a very physical feeling in my body that a limb is missing. Well, not a limb, you know, if I were
Oh,
very
yeah.
fortunate.
No,
But
yeah,
there,
no.
but like there is something missing, and like my brain contextually, like I could describe to you, I'm not going to, but I could describe to you like what it's supposed to look like, even like it's that strong of a feeling. And I don't think that there's a that is a thing that happens to lesbians.
No, I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my prosthetic like is a part of me. Like I feel naked without my prosthetic, and that's just how it is. And like I do want to touch on like that thing we were saying, how it is very different to want to be with somebody and to want to be somebody. And that's something that I had to work through in my past with my therapist, because I couldn't tell with women if I wanted to be them or if I wanted to be with them. And I learned I wanted to be with them. I don't want to be any of my female friends. I want to be friends with them, or I want to date them, or I want to in some way be part of their life, but I don't want to be them. I don't have any desire to be one of them. I do have the opposite experience with men, where I don't, well, now I kind of want to be with men, mostly just sexually a little bit. I don't really see myself in it that romantic of a relationship with a guy. But like I want to, there are plenty of men in my life that I would want to be. There are not a lot of men that I would like to be with. And so there's a difference there too with the anatomy of like being sexually attracted to a type of anatomy versus wanting that anatomy on your own body. Like a lot of us, I know Beck specifically is a straight guy who has no desire to sexually interact with a man's body, but has different feelings about having that body on himself.
I could see maybe trying it once just for the power dynamic of it, because I spent so many years with men being in control of what was going on in the bedroom. And I'm like, fuck you. I want to like bend your ass over and fuck you just to be an asshole, but not like a long-term thing. It would probably just be one time. It would probably gross me out, and I would never want to do it again. That's honest God truth.
Honestly, more power to you. More power to you. Snaps and finger claps. Fucking Christ.
I knew a lesbian back in the day that she'd put a strap on and bend over these guys, and they were like straight men, right? And I was like, "You get off on that?" And she's like, "No, but making them my bitch is so much fun." And I was like, "Touche."
That is a power move. Oh,
Total
man.
power move. That's the only reason she did it. She
That
wasn't attracted to men at all.
Oh,
Yeah, it's funny.
dude. Yo,
I can see how for especially younger people who haven't quite figured it all out yet, that would be a confusing paradigm to kind of figure out, because feelings are way more squishy in real life than we have actual language for. And so making that distinction between like your like autoerotic self versus your like externally erotic self, like trying to figure out, you know, I'm attracted to this, but why? Or, you know, I want to have this, you know, with somebody, but what, you know, like trying to get that all figured out is a process. And a lot of people do have to have like more than one partner, or, you know, have some kind of experience behind them before they really get it all organized. And I feel like that's a legitimate conversation. It just doesn't belong in the context that it is online, which is pretty much exclusively to say trans people and trans identities are illegitimate or predatory, because this is also this thing where, like, again, going back to, you know, we're transing the kids, people use this to set up an argument that we're trying to force other people to be trans and that we're confusing people on purpose.
Because that makes so much sense. I mean, we have an agenda.
Yeah.
You know, just like the gays do, and, you know, the lesbians,
and the
everybody's got an
atheists,
agenda. We're all trying to take over. from different aspects of the rainbow. Yeah.
Anyone that's not a cis-het white Christian conservative is trying to have an agenda to convert you to whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
I found out that my local Planned Parenthood has a job opening available, and I really thought about applying just for the sake of doing like the hat trick of being everything that Republicans hate.
Do it. Do it.
And we'll put trans people into Planned Parenthood
Yeah.
to help with abortions. Right. Yeah.
They
That'll
don't
really
have,
piss
like-
off all the Republicans.
There are no real requirements for this job either. You have to have like an equivalent certification for like CPR called
Yeah.
BLS, and
That shit's-
you gotta
BLS
Yeah,
is
so
an easy
easy.
class. That's an easy class.
Yeah, and they'll
that
give
and
it
that and a
just
high school diploma.
Yeah, most places will
Just
just,
to do, like-
you go to the Red Cross or whatever, or you get to go through the company, and you can
Yeah.
get free classes because they want people to know how to
Yeah.
do it. So,
So
they'll half the time
basically,
they'll give
like,
them out for
in-
free.
I was reading through it. It was really funny because basically all they want is they want you to have a high school diploma and they want you to be liberal. And I'm like, I can do that.
Well, gee,
You should
I don't know
apply,
anyone here that
Larry.
fits that
Get the
category.
job.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah.
Get
well,
the job, Larry.
Larry
I
the
need a
Lobster
job.
seeing
I need to
things,
be employed
going
real bad.
places. Larry the
Take
Lobster
it.
living their best
I mean, even if
life.
it pays shit,
Yep.
you're still doing something. You'll feel productive. You're making some kind of money,
Yeah.
and you'll be doing something that helps people. So, I think that's
But
a
anyway,
great
we're
idea.
getting off topic.
Nope, it's true, but it's all right. It's still all in
It's
the
okay.
still
I
on the
figured that-
political spectrum.
I mean, I figure we kind of can run with that topic and talk about just stereotyping in general of trans guys, and that whole kind
Where
of
do we
thing.
begin?
That's why it's a whole show conversation.
It's
Yeah.
a bottomless pit. Ha ha.
It really is. Ben and I decided we could just, you figure how many topics we can go through the whole fucking year and maybe hit on everything.
Yep.
For
We
2
could
or
do,
3
like,
hours each.
Once a
topic.
day, like a topic once a day, and still not hit the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
No, do like a one-a-day calendar.
Feel like you get
What
over 300, you're probably going to be leaning into other parts of the umbrella,
Yeah, but that's still parts of the umbrella too.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why it's
Oh
a-
yeah. No,
it's
I
a
was just talking about trans
spectrum.
shit. We could make
no,
this
for
into
sure.
yeah.
No.
There's like 200 topics or something, right? We could
But
definitely
then
do
those
that.
200 topics have subtopics, and then that's at least another 100 per topic. And
Yeah.
I'm ready. I am.
Oh, so I did want to share the meme that I posted in my Discord,
Mm-hmm.
because it going along with the stereotypes thing and just trans guy vibes, because this is us. Like this is us right here.
There's a couple of dudes hanging
Oh my
out.
god, what the hell is that?
It's so
Oh
funny.
yeah, I saw that on Twitter. It's so fucking true.
It's so true.
This is positive
I will be able to-
masculinity. It's raccoons climbing up a brick chimney.
Yeah.
I
chaotic
love
energy.
them. I love them so much.
Like this is trans guy energy though, like for real. So
Chaotic.
you can be
stupid.
masculine
It's
and
true.
not be a dick. You can just climb up a wall like a raccoon.
Yeah. you don't
This
have
is
to-
true. All trans men can vertical climb.
This is true.
Yes.
I can at least double jump as well.
Oh, sorry.
You're
Somebody's
muted.
talking to me. I'm sorry.
You're muted. You're muted. You're
I
muted.
said, yeah, I do that all the time. 10-foot vertical jumps and shit. Fuck yeah. Like
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Yeah, I can just crawl up the stucco walls out here. Fuck yeah.
Dude, that's your superpower. Shit,
Can't even
man.
run and jump. What are you talking about? I ain't
Hey,
crawling
you-
up the
you
fucking
drive-
goddamn chimney.
You play American Truck Simulator now, so how's that
I'm
for
so
a
addicted to
stereotype?
that game. Dude, I'm already up to 64 grand in my bank.
I know you're addicted. I'm so
Level
happy that
3.
you love that game.
Level 3, 64 grand already.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get a new truck soon. Yeah, get whatever one I want. God damn it.
You
I'm-
get it.
I'm trying to
think
of-
Oh,
What?
all spoke at the same time.
What happened?
I don't know. But now we're doing hand charades with dancing. But you can't see me because I hate my camera.
Yeah, well, if you're gonna do charades or hand signals for the stream, it's good to be able to see the hands. It's
I
true.
could do the Macarena instead, but you'll be facing the ceiling. Yeah, like
No, I'm
literally.
good.
It's just you'll be facing the ceiling. Dead ass.
Uh,
Oh, that's so
Oh, here's a
weird.
question that might be good for Jupit.
Hi, what's up?
Christian wants to know about neopronouns. Needs help understanding them.
I don't know. I'm still trying to understand.
You talking about like the zer and z or whatever it is?
Yeah,
Like an
there's just
X and an
it's
E
just
and an X and an
different
IR or
forms.
something.
It's just like
Not
different
sure.
forms. There's sometimes they're more neutral, sometimes they're more up to you. I'm just gonna talk with my hands up, I guess. I don't know. It's complicated. I'm gonna put it like that. Um, yeah, it's just hold on. It'll be easier if I can find something.
so
I feel like
Oh.
yeah, I feel like we
Fuck off
maybe
first.
at some point we need to bring on somebody who uses neopronouns to
Yeah.
help us out.
I'm still learning because my brain is never fucking stops working. And when you sit at home all day, you contemplate. um, but yeah. So I can't really fully answer because again I am learning. So it's like something new. I'm just gonna say that. It's also a broad spectrum like everything else, and there it is. I was about to send that.
So my limited understanding, because I've known some people in the really real world who use neopronouns, is that a lot of them are used by non-binary people or people who identify as agender.
Yeah.
Some of them take after forms, like some of them are more associated with femininity, some of them are more associated with like neuter or like non-gendered. Like for example, like Fae Fair is often used as like it's like they them but with a feminine spice.
Yeah, there's
And
also noun ones
but
too.
well, sorry, but not all of them follow that kind of pattern. Many of them have nothing to do with relationship to traditional masculine or feminine forms.
But no, there's also noun ones too. So like star gender, emojis, I guess. It's like this whole broad spectrum, and I'm still learning. I'm a horrible teacher too, so yeah. That's my answer.
Beck, you're muted again.
You're doing your best.
Because I'm at the other screen, I can't see that. Yeah, so the one I was talking about was the ZE. And then there's the XE, and then there's the ZE, ZIE, and ZIR. Z Zizer. So Z likes Zerself, and the XE, I don't know how to fucking say that.
Z.
Yeah, but then
X is usually pronounced like a Z. No, X
I
is
know,
usually
but then
pronounced like a
there's a
Z,
ZE
so
in here, so it has to be different.
no.
Anyway, so
It's
yeah,
just
so
different ways of spelling.
they, me, V, Spivak, Z, Zai, and her, Z, Zai, and Zer, and XE, however the fuck you say that to make it different. You would never know because there's two of them. So, but anyway, so yeah, those are the I guess most of the neopronouns.
They're most popular ones. They're
Right.
common. But I have no idea. So there's a whole list out there.
Yeah, I don't know enough about them to really comment much.
Mac, if I see somebody and they have what is obviously a little girl and she's all done up in pink and bows, I say she. If the kid is androgynously dressed, I say they. And if they are obviously like a boy and they have like the little tie in the suspenders and shit, then I will say he. But yeah, if they're androgynous, I don't guess. I just go, oh, they're so cute. What's their name? And then they go, oh, her name's. And I'm like, okay, she, there we go. That's all you have to do. Just use the they one time. They'll fucking tell you.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't want to answer
Oh,
this question.
What's
that's a whole discussion.
what's the
No, that's
question?
a huge
Like,
discussion, and I'll tell you why. Because it's every single situation is different. Every person's different. Every person that they encounter is different. I mean, look at
Wow.
Heather. Heather's not a lesbian.
Well, here, let me
She sees me as a
let me
guy.
give the crux
So
of this argument, like pretty much the best explanation I can give, quickly for this debate. I'm gonna say yes, it is, because their status of being trans tells you nothing about their anatomy or their personality or anything else. So you choosing to date them or not based on their trans status is not a relevant concern. You can say you like certain body parts, that's fine. But there are trans women who have penises, there are trans women who don't have penises, there are trans women who have vaginas, there are trans men who have vaginas, there are trans men who have penises. So
there's
saying that someone
goes
is
right around there.
so you can have certain traits that you like and certain personalities and certain people that you like, but to say that you would not date someone because they are trans and because of that alone, that's not a valid reason, and that would make you transphobic.
Yeah.
So that's what I have to say about that.
I'm gonna open another can of worms. What if they want biological children?
Then that's
Well,
not
that- so
about
the-
their trans thing. That's because you would also need to have that conversation with a cis person, because not all cis people can have children.
Yeah. No, I'm just
Yeah.
opening
Or
the
want
can
to.
of worms with that one. I
Yeah.
don't want to incite a fight. I'm putting my hands up right now.
No, that's okay. But like, yeah, that to Ben's point, that doesn't necessarily, that's a category of thing outside of their gender identity, because like he said, there are cis people who don't want to have kids for whatever reason, so having that being the only reason, having their gender identity be the only reason, is transphobic.
I agree with that.
Yeah, no, we do not choose our sexual preferences, but most of the time, and I'm going to say, like, you can't tell if someone's trans or not unless they tell you. Like, there are a lot of trans people who you would not know that they're trans. So you could be very easily sexually attracted to somebody who is trans, and you don't know. You're still attracted to them whether or not they're trans.
I've had straight women flirt with me.
I mean, I'm a prime
awkward,
example.
but-
I literally am a prime example of that. It just, yeah, no. It just depends on the person. It depends on, you're
Now-
you either look at someone and you're attracted to them or not.
I
And
do think
you
that
either
it is
get to know
totally-
somebody and become more attracted to them, or you don't. The problem is when people close it off in their mind before they even look at that as a possibility or an avenue of where this relationship could go, and they just automatically go, nope. Then okay, well that's their fucking issue.
Yeah.
But
I do think that it is totally valid to have preferences, because this is something that I find that people kind of erroneously say trans people don't think people are allowed to have sexual preferences, and that's not true. You're allowed to specifically like vaginas if that's what gets you going.
oh yeah,
You're allowed to specifically like penises if that's what
Right.
gets you going. You're allowed to specifically like individual personality traits. You're allowed to prefer someone to be in a certain income status. You're allowed to prefer whatever the hell you want to prefer. It's just that you can't know any of those things about a person just because they're trans without relying on stereotypes. And stereotypes
Exactly.
about trans people are usually fed by negative shit. So
Yeah, I'm gonna say it doesn't. It's not the same, Christian, because trans people are such a broad category of such a variety of people that it's not really a category that you could exclude for a preference.
but see that
I'm gonna-
now you're talking about the kind of people you're attracted to now in general. Like you're talking about women. Like, yes, someone could be attracted to a black woman and not be attracted to a white woman. I personally do not like pale blonde and redheaded chicks. Just don't do anything for me. I mean, I'm not prejudiced against them. I just am not interested in them sexually. So, yeah, so when I see those type of people, I don't look at them in a romantic manner. They're just friends. So it's not a prejudice. That is, that's what turns me on. That's what I like. That doesn't make me prejudiced against anybody. I'm not prejudiced against fucking dudes. I don't care if they're dudes. Good for you. I just don't want to have sex with them. I have nothing against them.
And
hell,
I'm not saying and you could.
Why would I hate them?
I'm not saying that you should have to date someone who's trans. Like, you don't have to date someone who's trans, but just the reason people are using to say that they're not attracted to trans people is not because they're not attracted to trans people. It's because they're not attracted to a certain body type or a certain personality type. It's not, the transness is not the thing that they're not attracted to. It is, again, what Larry was saying. It's the stereotype. It's the body type. It's the surgical status. It's functionality of the organs. It's fertility. There's some other issue that they're worried about that is not the transness. The transness is not the issue.
You know what kills me about that? There are plenty of male-born guys who can't get it up. I mean, it happens all the fucking time. Whether it's from diabetes or there's some malfunction, or maybe their fucking blood flow is not right, or maybe their nerves are fucked up. Like, there's different reasons why. So why would you hold it against, so you wouldn't date any guy that has that issue then? Is that water? With a little bit of lemonade. She's trying to make me drink water. Fuck, I hate water. Okay. Anyways, yeah, so I don't remember where I was going now, but it's not the same thing. But touche, Christian, I get you.
I appreciate Christian bringing up the topic to discuss, as this is a discussion show. So,
yeah.
Oh no, you can still say that you're allowed to. You can still like vagina or penis, but the thing is, like, saying someone is a trans man doesn't mean that they have a vagina, or doesn't mean that they have a penis. So that's why it's different.
What he's asking there is they like both, but they only like them on cis people. So you are saying that you wouldn't date a post-op trans person either, specifically because they're trans. Now, again, you don't have to date anybody that you don't want to, but I think that you should examine your internal biases against trans people and ask yourself why you think you're not attracted to any trans people ever under any conditions.
Yep. Yeah, that's the reasoning. It's the reasons people are using to justify the fact that they are not attracted to trans people. Because, the core issue is more than likely that's not the case. That they are using some other bias in their line of thinking.
I mean, I wouldn't say that I would never date someone who is a female but would still have a penis. I might not have sex with them until I get to know them, and maybe, because I think once you get to that point of if you truly fall in love with somebody, I mean, look at that. I mean, you truly fall in love with somebody, it doesn't matter what's in their fucking pants.
And
so I've never had that happen to me with someone who presents female that has a penis. So I don't know what I would do in that situation. Maybe I would have sex with them, maybe I wouldn't. I don't know, because I've never done that. You know what I mean? So I can't have an opinion on it.
Yeah, so if we're going in this direction, your internal bias might not be a choice, but that doesn't mean that it's a good line of thinking to have. It doesn't mean that it's good critical thinking. That doesn't mean it's a good way
Yeah.
to view the world. So I don't think that's a good reason to let people have those biases. Like, people should be called out on biases.
Yeah. So, for example, since it was brought up earlier in the chat about like racial issues, I was raised by a waspy upper middle class white family in the Midwest, and I was raised to believe certain things that are disparaging about minorities. And as an adult, I have had to unlearn all of that bullshit because I'm an egalitarian and I believe in the equal and respectful treatment of all people. So, like, just because I was raised that way and told that it was okay at that time does not mean that it's okay for me to continue that now knowing that that's bad. That makes sense?
Well, I mean, yeah. Isn't most of our life about learning and growing and becoming better people? I
Mhm.
mean, shouldn't we always be growing? Just in general.
So, I want to address a couple comments because, yeah, it might be honest.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry. It might be honest, but it can still be honest and transphobic. Like, even if it's honest transphobia, it's still transphobia. So that's still a problem. But then also, yeah, I think this goes in the same way. I think a trans person who says that they're not interested in cis people is also being equally biased, because cis people is such a broad category of people. Being cis doesn't necessarily even say what anatomy you have or what what sexual activity you like to do, or what functionality you have, or anything. It's such a
Right.
wide range of people that I think also you do get some bias with some trans people saying that there's a stereotype with cis people, so they wouldn't be attracted to cis people. So I just think, yeah, your cis or trans status isn't the issue. It's the stereotypes behind it, and that's why people don't like it. So I would say, yeah, it's equally biased.
Actually, Christian, we are letting people in. We just wanted to have our time to discuss our stuff, and then after that, we were going to open the panel up anyway. So,
Yeah, we're gonna open the panel.
I will send you a link on Twitter, and then when Ben says go, you can come in whenever he's done bringing up his topics for the night.
And
the
yes,
guys have
I
had
think
their say.
you can, you can be an ally as long as you are working on yourself to become better and less transphobic. 'Cause, I mean, even I've had internalized transphobia. I still have some internalized transphobia, and like we all, to an extent, probably do. So that doesn't disqualify someone from being an ally. If you have a history of that, or you have some things that you're getting over, the difference is people who are actively working on trying to do better and trying to advocate for the community, versus someone who knows that they have a bias and are doing nothing about it.
Yes, this is true. And that's one of the things that we have an issue with, is because it's right back to the toxic fucking masculinity every time.
And I just want to throw in as an aside that, like, you know, we're discussing this as kind of an intellectual topic, and I don't want anybody to think that, you know, I'm saying anybody is a bad person, or that I think people are bad people unless they do exactly what I want them to. That's not really what this is about. This is just about making sure that people understand what it is like to be a trans person, and have people just blanket write you off as being undesirable, unattractive, unwantable,
Mhm.
because of factors that are beyond your control. You know?
Yeah. I mean, let's all be honest, and I think that half of us in between the chat and the panel could say yes. None of us, we didn't get what we wanted. You know, we got older and we were like, fuck, this sucks. I don't
Yeah.
want to be this. Whether it was color of skin or sexuality or what gender you truly are or whatever. Like we all had that fuck, I didn't want this. You know, people have parents, they look at them and go, fuck, I didn't want these parents. They suck. Like, how the fuck did I get this? You know, it's just a roll of the fucking dice, and you come out and you start getting conscious and you look around and you go, cool, or fuck. You know, it's just how it is. And just some of us got screwed in different ways than others, you know. Some of us have horrible moms. I had a great mom, you know. Some of us have horrible moms. Some of us are born the sex that we should be. Like, lucky you fuckers, huh? Can you imagine if that happened to everybody and everybody had to flip? Kind of hell, but I tell you what, they'd be fucking doing those surgeries, like thousands of them every single fucking day. It'd be like, sure, just come on in. Nope, it's free. You know, wouldn't be a big deal anymore.
Kind of like that whole thing. If men could get pregnant, there would be an abortion clinic next to every Taco Bell.
Oh, absolutely. Yep, and there'd be a beer drive-through on the other side of the Taco Bell. You could just, you know, abortion, Taco Bell, beer, go home. You know.
Yes, the circuit, the loop.
So fucking true, though.
God, it's really fucking
so
annoying.
Maya. Maya said, I'm constantly asking myself if I'm an ally. And you know what, Maya? I do the same thing with BLM. I always think, am I trying hard enough? Am I paying attention around me and catching things that people are doing and calling them out for it, you know? Which I'm really good at, by the way, and I don't give a fuck if anybody likes it or not. And I know everybody's probably like, oh, this little 5'6" motherfucker. I don't give a shit. I walk in, I'm 10 foot tall, bulletproof. And if I see somebody doing that shit, I'm going to fucking call it out. And the worst that can happen to me is I might get hurt. You know how many times I've been punched in my life? I don't fucking care. Punch me. Whatever, you know? But, yeah, no, I ask myself that all the time. And it's just like, it's just what I ask people to do for my friends who, and all the POCs out there, or BIPOCs is really a proper term. You know, stand up and fucking say something. If someone says something derogatory, stop them. Let them know you're not okay with it. Because the bottom line is, if we let people know we're not okay with it, then they start being the odd man out. And then eventually they shut the fuck up because no one's okay with it anymore. Because everybody, it takes one person in a group to get the balls to say, I'm not okay with this. And then other people go, well, I'm not okay with it either. And then the other guy says it. And then the other girl says it. And then that person is like, I'm not saying that shit anymore. And it's not promoted. The opposite is promoted. And that's all we can all do for each other, you know. But it's just like, you know, having white people go stand up for black people on the street that are getting fucking attacked by cops and shit, or attacked by other white people, or whatever's going on. You know, if someone's attacking a trans person and you are not trans or under the umbrella at all, you are the biggest advocate, because people are going to listen to people that are like them. Period. So the fact that you ask yourself constantly if you're an ally means you are an ally, because you're thinking about it all the time. So all we all have to do is get used to putting those thoughts into action and standing up for each other. And it's scary sometimes, and maybe we can't always do it. But if you're in a group and there's two of you and you feel safe, fucking say something. Or just be like me and roll the dice. I don't know, whatever you want to do.
Are we ready to open up the panel?
Yeah, if you are, buddy. You guys you guys good?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
Open the gates.
Yeah.
Open
That,
the floodgates.
Maya, that reminded me also of something that I think everybody's therapist has probably said at some point. That if you're worried about whether or not you're a good person, you're probably not that bad of a person. Because bad people don't concern themselves with whether or not they're being good people. So, like, as long as you're thinking about it and trying to be conscious of the issues, you know, you can't be doing that badly.
I'm shilling out some links.
Links?
I already gave a link to Bolt because,
cool.
I told him, wait till we open it up and then come in if you want. Use it at your discretion. But I hadn't done anything on Twitter yet because I didn't feel like typing that to every single person, you know. I'm like, wait, I'll tell you. They come in the basement, they're like, "Mine got me in." So I just figured I'd wait it out. Here, let me. Who wants a link? Tell me.
Well, we got Christian here now.
Hey, hello.
I appreciate Bolt's comment about the morning after pill with every Big Mac meal deal. I used to work at a pharmacy, and like our pharmacy didn't even keep them behind the counter, but I couldn't tell you how many times I had a guy walk up to the counter and like basically had his forehead kissing the counter, trying not to look at me. What, do you guys sell the pill here? I'm like, it's over there on aisle 12.
Yeah, right. It's true.
I'm sorry.
Like, dude, it doesn't matter. Everybody buys one now. Everybody buys one. You know, when I worked at CVS at night, I would have I'd tell my cashier to like, okay, go grab the trash, or you have this stuff up here, go put it away, I'll watch the register, right? And people would come up and there'd be like these I never carded them.
Yeah.
I never carded one of them. Because by God, if you don't want to be pregnant, you shouldn't be pregnant.
Yeah.
I'm not going to see if they're 18 or not. You know how many girls end up with unwanted babies because they're afraid to go to talk to their fucking parents when they're pregnant? Yep. And so they're like trying to go behind their back, and they're like 17, almost 18 years old. And they're like, do you want to see my ID? And I'm like, do you need a morning after pill? Yeah. I don't need to see your ID. You're obviously over 15. I think if you're 16 or above, you're fucking having sex and you're scared to tell your parents, they should sell you that fucking pill. Because shit happens. We get stupid. We do stupid things. We let people do things that we shouldn't let them do. We want to be accepted. We want to be loved. We want to be all these things when we're teenagers. We're all fucked in the head. So you know what? That is the prime time to give them that shit. Give them free condoms. Give them the fucking morning after pill. Why ruin their lives because they made one fucking mistake? Who here made a mistake and you wish you could have taken a fucking pill and got rid of it? Right? If I could have took a pill and went back a few hours and saved my mom's life, I'd rob a bank to buy that fucking pill. You know. So why ruin that person's life if you don't need to? Just give them the goddamn $40 or $50 pill. Sell it to them.
So the question, do you consider yourself woke? Marie wants to know.
That's a loaded question.
I am pretty fucking woke.
I don't understand what woke means in this context.
If you're truly aware of what's going on around you and all the shit and the bull crap and the politics and what they're doing to BIPOCs and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, all that.
No, I'm a little...
by the way, you can add Asians onto that too.
I'm a little too hyper-aware to the point where I get extremely stressed out about it. So I like to... the nice, like, not the nicest way, but like the best way of explaining it is I'll consume the media, but like also take breaks from it. But that's just for me and my own like mental health. Because again, if I consume too much, I get like very overwhelmed, and that's like the best way to explain it.
Rock on.
Yeah. No, it's like, it's not like I don't care, but I have to also like be very mindful of how much stress I put onto myself too. Because it gets like overwhelming. There's like a new case every day kind of thing. It's like,
well, everybody needs to be mindful of that, bottom line.
Yeah.
You just should be.
But, yeah.
Because, you know, you got to take care of yourself first. Nobody's going to do it like you.
No, you can't consume all the negative media all at once.
Yeah. I kind of like what Maya said. I'm beginning to hate the term woke. Everyone is starting to use it in the bastardized right-wing propaganda way. It's obnoxious. So I don't like using what I think are buzzwords to describe my personal philosophical beliefs because it's very easy to get off in the weeds of this is a me versus you, my tribe versus your tribe bullshit, because that's exhausting and it takes away from actually solving any kind of problems. So in general, if I were asked that question, I would say I'm an egalitarian humanist. I believe that there's a lot of human suffering going on in the world that could be having something done about it, and we're not doing anything about it. And that bothers me. So yes, I am personally affected by certain social issues. And because of the way I'm affected by those social issues, I try to be aware of social issues that are affecting groups that I'm not a part of.
Right.
because of empathy.
No, yeah. I mean, the bottom line is, and I have said this before, and I will say it again. We are all human beings on the same planet, and we should all be helping each other when we can. And even if it's just like helping somebody carry something out of the fucking store, you see an old lady with a big box or whatever, little things matter. It really does. You can start a trickle down effect. I've done it and I've seen it go around and heard about it later. So it will work. We just need to fucking show love for each other and quit being so goddamn judgmental and quit worrying about what kind of clothes someone's wearing or whether they look male or female or what bathroom they're in. Like, none of that fucking matters at the end of the day. If Yellowstone blows and this whole entire country, half this country is shit and people are dying, are you going to give a fuck about what bathroom somebody uses? Then it doesn't fucking matter. We're all just human beings, and we all just need to fucking show respect and love for each other. Until someone gives you a reason to fucking hate them, you should automatically love them. And then if they show you they're a dickhead, then fucking kick them to the curb. Fine. You don't have to like them, but ooh. You don't have to like them, but, you know, you don't have to fucking be disrespectful or an asshole to them either. I just don't interact with people I don't like. It's so simple. I never get in arguments. There's no fights. There's no stress. I don't worry about if somebody likes me because I don't fucking care. If you don't like me, that's your issue. I know that my mother raised a good person. I may not be fucking as good as I would like to be. I'm not as perfect. I don't look as good. And I don't have the perfect body like I would like to be. But by God, I'm a fucking good person. If you don't like me, that's your fucking problem. I'm not going to worry about it. I know that flaw does not reflect on me. That's your own shit. So, yeah, just fucking love one another, man. It's fucking ridiculous. Eggnog, liquor, a little cinnamon and nutmeg on top. Frothed. She frothed it.
Eggnog is disgusting.
Added a shot of espresso in it. It's really fucking good.
No.
Like a whole thing I got going on here.
No, that's a little too frou-frou for me. I don't even know.
Got espresso in it, man.
Okay, I drink espresso by itself.
I'm not drinking an apple teeny. What the fuck? Or demasculized. I can't say that.
I would really love an almond mocha.
Oh, yo.
But I don't have like the spoons to do a 13-step drink making process right now.
That's a little too much, but you know what? That sounds really good.
I told you I'm spoiled, Larry. I had eggnog and I had just thrown some liquor in it, and she came over and grabbed it. I was like, oh, I was gonna drink that, you know. And she's like, oh. And she's over there making shit, and I'm like, what are you doing? She hands me this cup. Yeah, so I'm fucking spoiled. I told you I'm making a clothing line that's called Lucky Bastard.
You really should.
And I'm gonna make them look kind of like baseball shirts, so they're like masculine enough. And it's gonna be called Lucky Bastard. And it's gonna be for all the guys that have someone in their life that is totally out of their league, and they know that they should not. So that's my thing. I am the Lucky Bastard.
Dude, you really
totally
are,
out of my league.
dude. You sound so
really
happy
am.
too.
I know, it's sick, isn't it? Yeah. Don't you just want to fucking punch me?
No.
Yeah, I was like that a couple years ago.
No, I was gonna say I feel genuinely happy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely happy for me too. I said, you know, like her and I were like, we woke up in the morning and we were just kind of like laying there like, morning, you know, talking and stuff. And I was like, you know, like I still don't believe in like there's a God up in the sky or whatever people think, but there's got to be some karma at least. Like maybe all those good things I did for all those years finally paid off. And we're both convinced that our karma finally came back to us for putting up with all the bullshit and people stomping on us and us being good to them despite that, and still olive branching and all these things we've done all these years of our lives because we are almost the same fucking person. Just one's more feminine than the other. That's literally what it is. We agree on everything else except for like one food I don't like and she likes it. We found one thing so far. But anyways, you know, it's like it's karma. Like all those
Yeah.
years of being good, all those years of doing stuff and going out of my way to help people, and even the days I didn't want to fucking do it and I wanted to tell them fuck off and I want to stay at home and do nothing. Fine, I'll get in my truck and come pull you out of the ditch, you know? Like I still did it. I still would fucking do it. Even when I didn't want to.
I guess in our partnership, I'm the one that does cutesy shit like that. So I do a lot of like cooking from scratch and like baking cookies with your initials on them and that kind of bullshit because I'm kind of a fruitcake that way.
You're just a softie, Larry. You're a sweetheart.
No, you're a fucking brick of fruitcake, my guy.
But I just,
fuck you.
I wake up sometimes and I'm like, holy shit, I'm married to this amazing person. I have to, not that I have like super low self-esteem, but like sometimes I want to like put forth a gesture of gratitude that I get to be in this great situation.
It has nothing. For me, it has nothing to do with self-esteem. I'm borderline cocky. It's not that. I just know that even I'm good, like where I'm at here, she is still better than that. So it's not a self-esteem. Like people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't be like that." I'm like, "No, you don't get it." Like I know I'm pretty great. I know I'm
the cocky.
I'll take that. That's fine.
You're not borderline cocky.
But like I'm here, she's up here. So
yeah, we're also borderline. I mean, you're not Phoebe level of ego, but like
you're almost level of Phoebe.
Almost Phoebe level.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now. Sometimes when you love yourself, it just happens like that.
I don't know what that's like.
What it is. I don't know why I feel so good about it. No, I'm just kidding.
I love that Phoebe is now the standard of height.
Of ego? You're not like Phoebe, but you are kind of cocky. You know?
It's only because Phoebe advertises herself that way. That's the only reason she gets that.
Ego's coming with me. Phoebe's funny as fuck. So, Christian, you wanted to discuss stuff, and we brought you on here. Now is your time, sir.
What's
I'm going to take a 5-minute break since Ben is here, and I'll be right back. And I'm listening still because I had my wireless.
And I'm listening as well. I've been turning my camera off because I'm nomming, but I'll turn my camera on when I'm not nomming.
No, go ahead and fucking eat because I'm about to get homemade shepherd's pie, and I'm gonna eat that shit right in front of you.
Well, I know it bothers Ox in the audience, and I didn't want to.
Ox is in there.
Yeah.
See, my bro is such a good dude.
So I'm still listening.
We love our.
Yeah. Hi. Good to be on.
Hello. Welcome to the shit show.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So the conversation around gender and gender expression and how that works is interesting. I don't understand all of it. Maybe I can ask some questions and see if I can get a better understanding. So I think we established, and I think Ben had said this when I was asking the questions in chat, which was excluding people from your preferences based on arbitrary group categories, whether that's cis, whether that's trans, right? Nothing about cis or trans tells you anything about primary sex characteristics, secondary sex characteristics, or even tertiary sex characteristics. So those, I guess the way you'd say it is, there's no inbuilt preferences towards arbitrary categories or like socially constructed categories such as gender. Is that sort of what I'm hearing?
It's complicated. I think hypothetically, you could have somebody who has a preference that is specifically about the immutable characteristic that someone is trans or like their body related to being trans. The thing is, that's not like in the 99.9% of people who say that they don't want to date a trans person. That's not what they're talking about. Those people, the vast majority of them are relying on a stereotype or a preconceived definition of what it means to be trans. So I think, yes, you could you could theoretically have a person who didn't have that unnecessary baggage going into the equation, but I don't think that that's realistic for the discussion.
I think a lot of times with these discussions, I make the refrain, bigots aside, because I think everyone on this panel sort of understands that, just not dating a trans person because you think that all trans people are icky is like not a serious position to hold. I guess what I'm more talking about is the standards that we set among, the community. So it's like if someone were to walk up to me and say, hey, I try my best to be an ally, right? I try my best to be respectful of pronoun preference and identity expression. And whenever someone is, being discriminated against, I step in and I make my voice heard and I try to lift up their voice and hope they can defend themselves too, right? Like they say all these things and then they go, in my personal life, when I go to look to date someone, right? If I find out that someone is trans, my first reaction, sort of unconsciously, is I'm not really interested. I'm more interested in like a more cis sort of presenting person. My question is, while I think that's prejudicial, I'm not sure if that prejudice can be removed entirely. And even if it were, is the existence of unconscious prejudices, is it inherently a bad thing, or is it only a bad thing when the prejudices go against things that we think are good? Or I'm just sort of standard testing on what that means.
Okay. So I think it is an honest position to take, but it's not inherently good of a position. Like I think and people can make choices based on that, and like you can make choices in your own life for reasons that are not good. And I can't stop anybody. Like if you don't want to date a trans person, I mean don't date a trans person. But yeah, I can think someone's reason, whether or not it's honest, could still be a bad reason.
So to sort of follow up on that, and just sorry, and then you absolutely can jump in. I don't want to like just keep asking questions over and over again. My big thing is I tend to hold this belief that the beliefs that people hold about other people are far more a construction of society and far less a construction of someone's inherent biology. I think that a lot of our views socially, politically, are environmental. They're not genetic. So, especially when someone expresses like prejudices against like, black folks or whatever, right? Typically that prejudice, they didn't come out of the womb, going to Klan meetings. Typically that's like a taught behavior over life that someone like, gets into the society and they find themselves ostracized and a lot of their societal powers being taken away through broad social movements, and they become reactionaries in that sense. So my question would be, for someone who lives in, like an isolated, part of America, or even just like, your standard Midwest small town, for someone who has that experience and sort of has these unconscious prejudices towards trans people, right? Is having prejudices and I don't really want to say bad because I think you're a moral anti-realist, and I think it wouldn't make sense to call behaviors bad as much as it would make sense to call behaviors like reprehensible or like not socially utilitarian, right? So like I would say that like it's not socially utilitarian for people to erect these prejudices based on people's sex or gender, but I'm not sure that someone is actively able to control what they're taught and learned. And even if they can choose I don't believe in free will, but if they can choose, right, to move that perspective further towards a progressive end, like, is it bad to not do so? Like, is it bad to remain in those prejudices if we think that you can't choose like what those are? Right.
Larry wants to respond to that.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm excited to hear.
So, we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier in the chat, where I explained that I was raised in a very racist environment, very explicitly racist environment, and for a certain short part of my life, I did internalize some of those things that I was taught. And as an adult, I have had the opportunity and the continuing obligation to confront those biases. And right now, as I am today, I would not consider myself to be a racist person. And I think that prejudices, especially when they're based on misinformation, can absolutely be corrected. I grew up and I had a better experience of the world, and I met new people, and I realized that the things that I had been taught were not true. And then I carried that forward through personal action to address my thought patterns and behaviors towards others to more closely align with my internal moral beliefs. And I think that anybody can do that. And I think that if you're in a position where you're holding a belief that causes you to behave negatively or harmfully towards others, you absolutely have an obligation to correct that belief, and that you can do so.
I think, and by the way, I appreciate the explanation. I have a question on two parts of it. The first is the last part where you say you have an obligation. Where does that obligation come from?
Empathy. I want to treat people well. To treat people well, I have to confront the ways in which I've treated people poorly.
Okay. So, and then just for clarification, you would say that that obligation exists for everybody who has any prejudice of any kind, or just certain prejudices?
I think that if you're behaving in a way that causes other people harm and you become aware of that, then you have an obligation to stop doing that, whatever it is.
Okay. So maybe I'm being too philosophical, and forgive me if maybe I'm just like missing the forest for the trees, which is entirely possible. Philosophy student, I'll admit, I tend to do that a lot. So what I'm asking more specifically is, when we say we have an obligation, we mean that there's some sort of standard of which we're trying to achieve, and that standard is non-subjective. So like when I say you have an obligation to help others, or you have an obligation to act on your empathy in society, like, it's not obvious to me why those obligations exist in a society where I'm not convinced that morality is real, or that morality is some sort of set of edicts that we have to follow, and it's some sort of set of prescriptions that we're like gaining towards. So that's sort of like my big holdup, is like, I don't know how we get obligations morally from like a secular perspective.
So the way that I filter through when I'm making these kinds of considerations, I filter it through the standard of harm. Does it cause harm, or does it cause, not harm? If it is harmful in some identifiable, quantifiable way, then it's bad. Because that's a tautological statement. Harm is bad.
Right. Yeah. I get what you're saying. I guess my big thing is, who decides what is harmful? Is it you? Is it society? Is it anyone who is progressive? Is it the larger movement as a whole? Like, who sets the standard for what is and is not acceptable?
I don't think that there can be a universal consensus. I do think that there is an element of it that has to be decided individually. But that's not to say that I don't think that there is a broad swath of common good that everybody can come to an understanding of. Your house being on fire is obviously bad, but
and that's the thing, though. It's not obvious to me why that's bad.
Because you need a house to live in.
Well, so and that's the thing, right? So what's going to happen, and this is, morality is so messy. Eventually, we're going to come back to I believe statements. So if I say, it's bad when your house burns down, and then I go, why? And then someone says, well, because you need a house to live. And I'm like, well, okay, why is it good to live? It's like, well, because when you live, you can prosper and make friends. Okay, well, why is it good to prosper and make friends? Like, there's going to be like a certain level of skepticism that continues to berate moral claims, until we get into the very center claim, which is just, I think this is true. Like, eventually we're going to get down to a point where someone says, I think that harm means this. And I'm going to ask why. And they're going to go, I don't really know. Right. I just have a set of moral inclinations. and I'm acting on them under the assumption that they're true, even though I can't really justify that. Like, I'm sure you can't really tell me why it's good to value people. Like, you can say, because, you know, empathy, it's like, well, then why is empathy good? Well, empathy is inherently good. Or empathy is, you know, like, do you sort of see what I'm saying? Like, you're going to reduce all
No,
these things down to that, right?
I actually
Yeah.
am also a philosophy student, and so I
Oh,
know
cool.
exactly where you're
Look at
coming
that.
from. So I did. I studied under. I've forgotten his first name, but Professor Perkins. And it was a long time ago. I can't remember the other lady's name, but as individual study classes that I did for college credit. But I would say that, you know, I don't believe that anything is like written into the fabric of the universe as true, besides maybe like laws of physics. But I think even the way that like we write mathematical equations is through the filter of our own ability to comprehend those topics as people, you know.
Mhm.
But I think that it's not really necessary to establish epistemological truths to try to be a good person.
I agree with you if you don't think too hard on what good means.
So can I jump in really quick? Because
Yeah,
I'm
let's
not
do
a philosophy student. I'm a medical student. So as much as I love the conversations and the mental masturbation that is going on, I love it. It's great food for thought. In my mind, if something's not practical, I don't care that much about it. Like my worldview
This
is
is
very
deeply
on,
practical.
on
This is
things
deeply
that like
practical, Ben.
it's I don't think we need to reach epistemological truths to necessarily be able to be practical in well-being. I don't necessarily need to go down the rabbit holes of objective versus subjective morality to help people. And yeah, like I see where it can be fun to do that, and I see that there is a need for people like you all to discuss things like that and have these food for thought conversations. And I will gladly listen. This is not my area, and I will happily say this is not my area
Well,
of expertise.
so please don't let me dominate the conversation. I will say one
No, you're
thing.
good. I'm just saying that like this is not an area that I'm going to pretend to have it all together in, because this is not the way that I think about things. So like I love the conversation, and I love being able to have discussions like this, and I will freely admit that I am not well equipped necessarily to go into the weeds in a lot of ways and make as much sense. So
Right. I think so. A small point and then a larger point. The smaller point is, I actually do think that this conversation about, you know, what obligations exist, what is good. I think these conversations are actually deeply pragmatic if you use them correctly. So it's not as though I'm asking the question, well, what is good, and then I'm going to, you know, read you like an apologetic of like how you can get to Jesus in these 10 steps. Like, that's not really what we're looking for here. And that is like philosophical, like masturbation, because you're not actually trying to like understand. You're just trying to like sell your snake oil and then move on. Right. I think what's being done here is, Larry had said that there is an obligation for people to do good things, or to do things in accordance with like well-being. Now, you know, I think that well-being, or terms like that, like harm reduction, I think those terms are utterly meaningless and we made them up, and they just seek to describe things that we already believe are good and bad behaviors. And we do none of the intellectual legwork that's actually needed to demonstrate why these are good and bad behaviors. We just say that they are and then move on. So I'm okay with saying that some behaviors are good behaviors and bad behaviors and just moving on. But I do think the conversation about why we assign good and bad behaviors is relevant to this point specifically, because we talked about how when we're younger, we can think that some things are good and bad behaviors, and later in life, we can evolve that moral understanding. Like Larry used to be, you know, have racial prejudices, and now I would assume most of those, if not all of those, have been either removed or, you know, paved over by better intentions, right? I think this conversation is really, really critical, because my question would be, why are we so sure that the anti-racist position is a moral one? And it's like, it sounds like an absurd question until you think about it and you go, well, if you have no objection to the racist other than, my understanding is different than yours. It's like, is that really an objection, or is that merely just a light disagreement with no teeth drawn? It doesn't feel very toothsome of a disagreement to
See,
just say
I don't
that.
know if. See,
I
and
have
I
a,
don't,
I
I
I
have
don't
a
know.
disagree with
laundry
that.
list of disagreements with the racists.
So
Check
and
my
and
Twitter.
I think I'll take an approach where I don't think morality is objective, or I probably end up agreeing with you, Christian, in that it's not really a thing. In that, like, I don't think there's an obligation to do anything, but I do think that there are consequences. There are real world social consequences for when you do things that don't go along with what we term to be well-being for people. And I do think that it is and it's very hard to, since I'm not a philosopher by any means, it's hard to put things from my brain into words that make sense in these contexts. So I don't even quite know where I'm going with it. But I don't think it's necessarily objective, but you can have consequences for doing things that are deemed to be good or bad in the society that you're in, or for people who like, if you do something that actively does harm to somebody, that there can be social consequences.
So that would be like the consequentialist or like utilitarian position. That's a very pragmatic, very linear way of thinking about stuff.
I know, brain bug. I'm not a philosopher. This is hard for me.
Yeah, I'm
Wow,
not either.
I
I'm just
mean-
listening because I'm like, oh no, I don't even know.
I
I
th-
don't want to
I-
get into that
and, like,
anymore.
I get it, because like the YouTube philosophy section has made philosophy so deeply uninteresting and so
Oh, no,
deeply frustrating. It's like
It's
just
interesting.
so
And I'm
irritating.
not saying it's not interesting, but I also know how to stay in my own lane. And I know how to not say that I'm good at something that I'm clearly not. So I'm
Mhm.
happy to engage as long as there's no standard that, like, I know what I'm talking about, because I don't.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I
'Cause I
said,
don't.
this isn't
I
like
think
a debate or like some sort
Ox
of
is
like
completely
rigorous
correct.
examination. I didn't see what Ox said. That's I've heard that one before. Yeah, that one's interesting. I think a lot of times, especially when we're talking about philosophy, we miss the forest for the trees. So we spend too much time in sort of ridiculous absurdity and don't spend enough time just like practically applying it. So like, let's just do like a
Right.
quick practical application of this. So if someone says, hi, my name is let's say their name is Bill, right? They go, hi, my name is Bill. I don't particularly care for Black Americans. And you go, wow, that's really not okay. Like, why do you believe that? And they're like, I don't know, I just don't. So my question for, I guess it can be for everyone on the panel, but especially for Larry, would be, how would you object to that person's perspective? And would those objections be true, objective in any way, meaningful, inside reality, or would they all be conditional on certain worldviews that you'd have to take before you were able to like
I'm
adequately
very
respond?
sorry. I didn't hear half of that because my internet connection is crap. I'm very sorry.
Dude named Bill walks up to you, says that he's a racist. How do you tell Bill that racism is wrong?
The amount of foundational understanding that I would have to express would probably be more than I could get into before Bill walked away. Because like I don't know how to explain to people that you should care about other people, because I just do, and I can't put my brain in the brain of somebody who doesn't feel that way.
Well,
So
so the
like, I
thing
mean,
is, right?
if I were really gonna try, I would probably go like the evolutionary route and be like, hey, we should treat everybody equally and treat everybody to a certain, good enough standard, because that means that we'll get treated that way. So I would probably try to argue it from the selfish perspective.
It's like you use
because I
altruism.
just can't imagine not experiencing. So I can't picture not experiencing the desire to be good to people.
I think,
That
and
is
this is
very
actually
difficult for me.
this is actually really important. It's a really good point, because I think a lot of times when we disagree with someone, our natural instinct is to find the place where we do agree and then build off of the agreement. So like,
Right.
if I go to you and I go, well, I noticed that you don't really like Black Americans, but you do like your daughter, like you do like your son, you do care for your community. Like, why do you care for them? And they go, oh, well, because I mean, I talk to them every day, right? I go to church with them, right? They give you like a whole list of reasons, and you go, well, you can do all of those things with Black Americans. Like, what is so special about them that makes you not like them? And then maybe they start to deconstruct and they go, well, when I was a kid, I had some bad experiences, or my dad always taught me that they weren't, it wasn't right to be in those communities, right? Like there's many different justifications they can give you. But my big thing is, if we are to convince people that it is wrong to be racist, our argument cannot simply be, it's wrong because I think it's wrong. Like,
the only argument I can think of,
That's not the
Christian,
argument that I'm making, though. The argument that I'm making
didn't
is
say
it's
you
wrong
were.
to be racist because Black people are human beings who deserve dignity.
Well, right. And for clarification, like at no point did I say we can't use Larry's argument. I said we can't use the argument that we think so, or we can't use the argument from I believe it to be so. And I think too many people in these conversations will just go, it's bad to be racist. Anyone who is racist is deplorable. Goodbye. And it's like, I have a problem with that, because I think we're all at different parts in our journey to being better people. And it really frustrates me when our answer to prejudice and bigotry is more prejudice and more bigotry.
See, what my brain automatically went to, and I can't think of anything else, is stating the fact that it doesn't matter what color people's skin are. There's good people, there's bad people, there's total fucking assholes, there's dickheads, there's child molesters, there's perverts, and it doesn't really matter. So why hate one group? Why not just hate the people that are doing those horrible things that you don't like, or whatever it is that, that's my thing is the color of someone's skin doesn't fucking matter at the end of the day, except for when we make it matter and we treat them differently because of it.
Well, that's
It
because
does not matter. It does not show. It's like saying, "Oh, I'm wearing an Abercrombie & Fitch shirt, so I'm a dickhead." You can't label people.
Well, a lot of these, like most prejudices like that, are born out of deliberate misinformation.
Yeah.
And so, like, what I would want to do is I would want to correct the bad information that causes people to be racist. So the bad information, for example, in America, for as long as we've had TV, 3 out of every 4 Black people that show up on TV are criminals or drug dealers or some kind of other bad thing. We don't have lots of positive representation. There's repetition of certain lies, like Black people are more likely to exploit, federal assistance of whatever kind, that, Black people can only get into college if they take advantage of affirmative action. And there's a lot of lies built into our current social coding. And so what I would optimistically like to do is say, here's actual information about all of these things that demonstrate why that's false. But people don't respond to that. People respond to feelings. So if I actually wanted to go about trying to make somebody not racist, I would have to appeal to feelings, because that's what their prejudices are born out of.
Right. You appeal to their foundational values, and you try to, if the best you can, take what they believe and mold it slowly into what you'd prefer they believed. And I agree that's probably the best strategy. I don't know. I think my biggest holdup with these conversations is always, okay, we're going to try to appeal to their sensibilities. But it's like, I can't remember a time that I've ever had a conversation with someone where appealing to their better nature has ever changed their mind on any issue. Like,
I mean, it's really, really hard to change anybody's mind, period.
and like the thing is, right, I think there's a reason for that. Like, I don't think that people are hardwired to change their mind with new information. I think that generally speaking, human beings are creatures of habit, and they are creatures of their circumstance, and people have to be given the same understanding for years before they're open to changing one of those fundamental beliefs.
Well, it depends on what the belief is. And I say to people all the fucking time, you're not going to change anyone's mind on something they believe to be true. We're not talking about like something like, oh, hey, here's a better way to do this one thing, like a task at work. When we're talking about, you know, I'm a white person who believes in like the prosperity gospel and the lighter the skin, the closer to God. I'm not overcoming that in a conversation. And there are people who do and then get frustrated, like, why don't you just understand this the way I understand this? And these are largely where we get these frustrations that you're talking about, where we're talking about these fundamental differences in opinion. I don't know. And I see this, like what you're talking about, I see it in the atheist community. And I just like completely checked out for a couple of months at one point because like the hypocrisy. And like it took a while for me just to calm myself down to be like, okay, everybody's a fucking idiot. No offense, guys. I love you all, but you know, it really upsets me at the inability that adults have to see the long game. And like there has to be a point. It's like, and why I was saying earlier, like I liked what you're talking about with like morals. It's like if I have a moral foundation, and I would prefer if it not be grounded in somebody else's ideologies, whether it's like the Bible or Tony Robbins. Like you have to know what you believe and why. And once you get that, which is kind of what it's what philosophy can teach a person, understanding what your inner workings are. What are my morals? Why do I believe this? Can I argue this? Once I have that down, then I can apply it to blanket situations, you know. And for me personally, you know, it's why I take both my abortion stance and my death penalty stance, you know, because I, you know, have this I have this value of life. But
I think if I can just jump in for a second.
When you're real quick, because you've been talking for a while. I'm just saying.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, please.
Go ahead.
Sorry, you know who I am, and I know I'm filibustering, but I just I want to bring it around though, because one, it's important, yes, to have these conversations because people need to understand why they believe the way they believe, and having these conversations help them better formulate that or change. A lot of times, like you know, a lot of what you're doing is like the Socratic method, and people, which is very helpful in getting people to come out of unreasoned beliefs. But another one is you're planting seeds. And this is what I tell people all the time. Your goal when you're trying to change somebody's mind is that I'm just planting the seed. I want to get to a point of what can we agree on? Because that opens them up to understanding, hey, there's a different way for me to think. I don't have to think just this one way, which is what I have been telling myself is the only way to believe. When I open myself up to, hey, there's something else out there, then I'm more able, like other information is more permeable. My brain is more permeable to other information that can be factual. And then we do see people changing over time. And I guarantee everyone in this panel and everyone in the side chat has, you know, come out of a deeply held belief. And it didn't necessarily have to take years. It had to be you being open to more information. And once that happened, you know, you're limited to, you know, your own faculties. I'm sorry. Now I'll shut up.
I think, well, I don't think you have to shut up. I make sure I just want to say a couple things real quick. That you made a point about, you know, the atheist community. I think some of the larger speakers in the atheist community, and I won't name names because I don't want to start shit, but a lot of the larger commentators in the in the atheist sphere are terrible communicators and, quite frankly, awful people. And I think it's a shame that some of the largest and most amplified voices in the communities are the least effective at actually communicating with people who disagree with them. They're great for in-group fodder, right? But they're not so great for like out-group appeal.
Yeah, there's a lot of egos in this community. I second that.
Oh, yeah.
Just maybe a few, right? Yeah, I don't know. I think especially when it comes to like disabusing people of deeply held beliefs, if that is the goal, which, you know, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. One place that I like to start that I don't think enough people start is I really hesitate to critique a worldview that I haven't thought about for a while. Like, I don't oftentimes walk up to some random person, hear some new belief, and go, okay, let's deconstruct it. It's like, I think the example that I always give is, if you're walking in the woods and you see a random gate, is your first response to open it and see what's inside, or tear it down because it's not guarding anything, or it's not stopping you from anything? It's like, your first response should probably be to check it out, you know, see what the hell's going on, right? It's entirely possible that gate has some utility that you just don't know of, right? So that's my cautionary tale for the day, I guess, right?
Yes. I think you should lick the gate.
Yeah, lick it and fry
just
it up
to make sure that it's real. How will you know the utility unless you know the taste? Everybody's been saying that for decades.
Yes, but how do you know that the information being transmitted to your brain from your tongue is authentic?
It's
right,
been
I'll have to
communicated
cut
to me.
my tongue
It's
off
okay
after
that I
licking
know
it
for
and test it.
The answer is to first roll investigation.
Hold on.
And then you lick the gate, and then you roll Constitution because that gate had rust on it, and now you got tetanus. And
wait a minute, how cold is
I
the
had
gate?
my shots.
Did your tongue freeze to the gate?
Is it a metal gate?
Depends on where you're located at.
You don't know what the gate is made of. You haven't investigated the gate yet.
Just a
Okay, we
D20.
got to roll to investigate then. What we got, Mikey?
I rolled a 16. Do I get any modifiers?
I only rolled an 8.
No.
I'm licking whatever the hell is in front of me.
I only rolled an 8. He just licked the
licking.
wood. He's got a big splitter stuck in his tongue.
I'm licking the grass next to the gate. Like, this gate
Let's just
tastes
play
like
D&D.
grass. I had a couple. I made notes so I didn't interrupt you guys.
Oh,
Yeah, Ox, that's why I play video games, so I don't fucking talk over everybody all day because I'm a attention whore. So B, if I could call you to the curtain here. So the whole premise that we're all the same, I know what you mean, but I hate it when people say that, because we're not. And it's important that we're not.
No, I'm talking about biologically. Like,
Either
we
way.
all have the same body parts. We bleed the same. We're just fucking humans.
Yeah, sure, but
That's-
if somebody
we are
doesn't,
all-
if
we are
people
all
don't,
the human
people don't
race.
believe that. When you're
I
talking to
know.
somebody that doesn't believe that, you just sound like what soy boy cuck libtard kind of.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, my point is that in every single group of people, I don't care what color they are, where they live, whatever, you're gonna have good people, you're gonna have bad people, and you're gonna have the complete fucking assholes that like kill people and do fucked up shit. That's just how it is.
No, yeah, no, that is, yeah.
There's
I
no,
agree.
you can't label it with a skin color or a nationality. It's everywhere.
Well, but people do.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
mean,
point.
I understand that I told people to shut up when I filibustered, and Mikey, I deeply apologize for talking
I already
during your
wrote down
time.
I already wrote down the timestamps. I was just going to send them to you passive aggressively on Twitter.
That's our Mikey.
No, but I think also real quick, and I'll shut up. It's important not to take your world view and impose them on others too. Like they do to us, right? It's really, really, really important to figure out where somebody's coming from when they take an opposing view from you, than you, before you go in, because you don't want to go in sounding like, like this woo woo, like, oh, here's some gemstones, and you can just like,
You have those?
I do.
Oh my
because I
God.
used to
Make sure you charge them in that full moon.
I was about to say, did you catch that full moon the other day? Did you charge them up? Are they ready to go, or do I have to wait a couple weeks?
Well,
I
they're
need
in
to
a
know.
box now, so they're probably not very charged. But I do have them, and that's what you asked.
And you can't.
You didn't ask if I had
just
charged
worthless
packs.
right now.
And it's not good to leave them on the charger. You'll end up wearing down the battery over time. my USB crystals.
All right, bitches. Mikey was talking. Everyone, shut the fuck up.
I just said like different. I just wrote down like different is good, but no one is better than anyone else, and that's where I kind of like where a lot of people like will see the differences and they'll say, "Aha, my difference makes me superior to you, so you instantly lose all of my arguments." And that's just such dog shit, just such dog shit. And then
that's a genetic fallacy to do that,
right? And then I wrote down here, fixing racists is white people's jobs, just like I have to fight bigotry in the black community. Like I don't have race conversations with white people anymore. That's y'all's job. I've officially retired. I'm done. I've had probably 100 of them, and I'm good. I've said all I need to say. So if someone else wants to pick up the reins, or I can pass the baton, but I'm not doing that shit anymore because I have to go back to the first thing I said, and I have to fucking go through all of that shit, and that's emotionally and that's taxing, right?
It
like
really
is.
That
sounds like that's. But if like I've literally had 4-hour fucking discussions back on fucking Zoom when Zoom was what everybody was using, just for some white dude to come in an hour 3, say the exact same thing I said, and then the guy believed it, and then it was gospel, and I was like, well, what the fuck am I doing,
dude? Are you kidding me?
I'm like, well, what the fuck am I doing?
Point. That totally proves my fucking point. Everybody's gonna listen to the guy that looks most like them. That's how people are in general.
I was like, so then why did I just spend all this fuck time? I was like, you know what? I'll do myself a favor. I'm done with this shit.
Yeah, fucking, I don't blame you, man. I wouldn't want to sit there and go in a debate about trans shit and fucking defend my position and shit. I'd get pissed. I'd be trying to reach to the fucking computer goddamn webcam and choke people. No, I couldn't.
And I think
I can't stand ignorance.
And it's important, and then it's important for people to have allies and stuff like that. So it's important for the allies to step up when it is their time to step up and stand in the way. Because I would much rather mediate a racist and an ally conversation rather than be in it. Because that, like, whether the racist knows it or not, that it's my actual life that they're talking about. So all the times that they say that this is made up and that's made up, it's like, no, dude, it's not fucking made up. So I'm not gonna really be able to be as objective as I want to be because I'm in throat punch mode and I'm not really trying to hear what this guy has to say.
And I don't fucking blame you. I couldn't even imagine how that makes you feel.
Biologic? Because I think it's more sociological than biologic. That and maybe a little bit of psychology because humans are conditioned to be opposed to the more different someone is from them, the people they're familiar with. You can take someone from a different ethnicity and put them in a family group with a completely different group, and they will not develop the prejudice towards people that look like the group that they were raised in. Just from growing up in that environment. But when people grow up in isolation where they're just surrounded by a bunch of people that look like them and people that look different come in, it's psychological for them to want to group together and be like, oh, these people are different. We're smart enough now, we should be able to overcome that and be more I don't know, open to people who are different.
I mean, I'm married now, but I always had like a Captain Kirk mentality towards races that I had never seen before, which was how quickly can I get them in my bed? And the answer was never.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Brainbug's kind of right though. We're all very, very like humans are tribalistic animals, which is why this isn't just a race thing. People will literally find any fucking characteristic to differentiate themselves from another group of people. Like I've seen people get into feuds because, you know, they had red hair or they didn't like people with red hair, which is super fucking stupid. But yeah, it is. So race relations are like a huge presentation of it, and it has a lot of history, but people really will find any excuse to hate on other people.
Oh no, like fucking Harry Potter and the houses. Like, people will get angry and hate people about being a
not
Slytherin or a
real.
Hufflepuff, or like these are made up
It's
things that
magical
nobody. It
Myers-Briggs,
doesn't
and it's
mean
not real.
anything. You are not a Slytherin. We are not all
You
in
don't
a
know that.
category of
Myers-Briggs.
wizards. Can you calm down?
I am a Ravenclaw, and I don't appreciate you saying that to me. My astrology symbol is Ravenclaw, and
My house is the house of trans, and that's where I stand.
Is that your
God
moon
damn it.
sign or your sun sign?
yes, my fire water bender.
My zodiac sign is the praying mantis.
Okay.
Can they make
I'll buy
new
that for $1.
zodiacs? Like, I want like the original iPhone, or like a N64. Like, they should really update those, because ain't nobody
Well,
running around talking about
dinosaur.
something. I'm a rat or I'm a rabbit. Like,
I'm an old
Those are
moldy
Chinese
potato.
zodiacs.
I just said zodiac, didn't I?
Yeah, I'm
we
an
have
old
to, we have to
moldy
divide them up
potato.
evenly though,
Yeah.
because we can't just all be naming the same ones different stuff. So
Well,
So one
Yeah.
more step, Ben, and you'd be vodka.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When Ben gets older,
I'm not
Ben's gonna
cool
be
enough
vodka.
to be vodka. I'm just an
But
old moldy
almost.
potato.
Hold
That,
on to that, buddy. Hold on to that.
Mm.
That reminded me, Ben, that when I found out how my testosterone is sourced, it made me the happiest I think I've ever been, because the testosterone I use is derived from sweet potatoes, which means I literally get to mainline potatoes.
The
I
American
know. I
dream.
want to know if I'm using the same kind.
No, I want to know
American
too. Fuck, I'm actually going and picking that up tomorrow. I'll find out.
you all know they used to put they used to have women pee on a frog to find out if she was pregnant.
Yep.
Yeah, I
They
did
also
know
used to. They also used to inject
No. You have
juvenile
to
rabbits.
explain. Like, how does
Yeah.
that tell if you're
Because
pregnant?
the hormone the hormones that a woman produces in pregnancy to make her body changes
Mhm.
biologically were all tetrapods. So amphibians are about as far as you can go back with it, but amphibians have permeable skin. They used to, and someone just mentioned, they used to inject bunnies and rabbits with it because it'd make them go into, like, their body respond like they were pregnant.
Okay, so
they
if I pee
develop
on a
teeth and
frog,
stuff.
what would happen if I'm pregnant?
What's that?
I think they go into like the pre-stage where they're about to lay eggs.
They do lay eggs. They're just not fertile eggs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, I pee on a frog and it immediately lays eggs?
No, like, it goes through the cycles of pregnancy, but they go through their pregnancy cycles a lot faster than a human does. So
Yeah.
you could pee on a frog and find out in a week or so if you're pregnant or not.
I didn't know frogs. I didn't know frogs like to party like that. All right, frogs.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Frogs
okay,
are
so
getting peed
I
on.
pee on
Shower toads,
like,
man.
walk me
Yeah,
through
man.
this. I pee on a frog and the frog lays an egg within a week. Is that what you're saying?
It lay a whole clutch of eggs.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a week. It might be a little bit longer than I don't know that. I'm not
Probably
sure,
depends
quite
on the
sure the
frog.
gestation period. And I'm sure it varies by what species of frog you use.
How much water have you drank? That'll determine.
But they used to, doctors used to inject rodents and rabbits with the urines because the hormones would cause them to. They wouldn't be pregnant and lay eggs like the frogs do, but they would.
No,
That's how we
they'd
got
cut
the
them
Easter
open
Bunny.
and they'd look at their insides.
I have
That's
so many thoughts right now.
That's how we got the Easter Bunny.
Did
Is
you know
because they
this
were
stuff?
injecting.
Gynecological medicine.
Well, I
is
did, but
the
just
stuff
thinking
of
about-
nightmares.
No, I did know it, but just thinking about HCG and other causes of high HCG, such as cancer, you could, I mean, you're still going to get like those false results with a lab test if you're just doing a qualitative HCG test, which is why sometimes you have to do a quantitative. But I'm just thinking about all the misdiagnosed, I mean, very rarely misdiagnosed cancers that would have been deemed to be pregnant.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You absolutely.
I
the
have
hormones you
questions,
produce.
but I'm afraid to ask them.
And there's
I'm just
also
gonna leave
cancer
this up there
pregnancies.
for a
That's
while.
also a thing.
Yeah, I'm sure the accuracy on them wasn't as good as but even early pregnancy tests, the accuracies weren't.
Oh no, this
How could
was
it be
just my
wrong?
medical brain going off. This is my own form of mental masturbation, where I just think about weird medical cases.
Quit touching your brain. Gross.
Now this is why I like hanging out with Big because he's always got especially when it comes to this medical stuff. He's always got some kind of insight on it. And did you all watch Ben on the Perspective, by the way? Did you all see that? It was awesome.
It was a fun time.
Well, you know, he's pretty great everywhere he goes, so I'm not really shocked that he was that you guys had a good time on that. Yes, this is a no fucker zone.
Time.
My rule is don't be a dick. That's it. That's my one rule.
Unless that's your thing.
So if Ben had lived 100 years
on
ago,
somebody
he
else's
would have
channel.
he would have had a bucket of frogs in his office so that he could have women pee on them to see if they're pregnant or not.
No, B's like really fucking badass. She made a Tangelo behave. Couldn't believe it.
He made on Tangelo in this chat.
Oh yeah.
Well, Tangelo was in the side chat, and he said, "I don't care if you stay, but you're not doing your you shit in my channel." Tangelo stayed, contributed to the conversation, and then we all just left in peace. It was miraculous.
Didn't like B basically said like we're not bringing religion into this.
Oh, but we were talking about philosophy. Yeah. We totally should.
No, I know. We're saying when Tangelo was there, because Tangelo.
Oh,
I'm gonna leave if Tangelo comes in. Just so you know, just
no.
He hasn't.
We need the hand of B to just put the smack down on him.
Yeah.
It's totally
no,
fine.
he hasn't come in since that time.
Well,
I don't think.
Yeah, I just I didn't know if he was going to come in here.
Well, I think he made a transphobic comment on Facebook, and so after that, a number of mods got together and decided they were banning him anytime they saw him. And
we're banning him from everywhere.
Well,
he left his community completely.
He did it twice. The first time I talked to him privately about it because there was no uproar about it. It was like done privately in a conversation he had with somebody in a creationist group about Katie Montgomery, and I direct message him. I'm like, people like me are not going to continue to engage with you if you're going to be acting like this publicly because
it was even more so than just transphobic comments. Like he was doxing people's pre-transition photos.
Yeah. Doing like before and after photos,
which is not okay.
Yeah,
not okay.
So that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me and him doing that. I'm like, no, because I'm kind of transitioning myself into so it's.
But I mean, even if you weren't, I mean, it's just a shitty thing to do.
Right?
Yeah, like just don't dox anybody's like previous photos that you don't have permission to share. Like, just don't do it.
But I'm sorry, we were talking philosophy. Yeah. Christian, did you have a question? I feel like we totally. I'm sorry. Welcome to B Stream. This is what we do. We start one topic, and then next thing you know, we're talking about like
steamrolled you with frogs.
Yeah, that's what
I had good intentions. I promise.
But
Christian, can you hear us?
Yeah. What's up?
We said, did you have a I don't know. I'm blanking on your last question, but I feel like we do what we always do.
I think Mikey was still going through his notes though, wasn't he?
Mikey, are you still talking?
We can't hear you.
Oh, my you already know my time is your time.
Everybody's time is my time. I don't know how to shut up. I understand. It's a character flaw. I'm working on it.
I just
no, you're not. No, you're not.
It's probably true too.
I mean, it's not my show, but you're fine. You're allowed.
So, Christian, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, what's up?
Do you consider yourself a humanist?
I thought I did at one point, but I don't really know what that means anymore.
Interesting. Okay. So, do you care about value? Do you have a value judgment that you place on like human life?
Sometimes, yeah.
What about non-human life?
Yeah, generally, yeah.
Is it scaled?
I feel like I'm just giving a bunch of conditional answers. Sometimes.
Okay, so is there any non-human life that you value more than human life?
Like I value my dog's life over like most people on this earth.
Okay. Why is that?
Fair.
Because it's cute.
Because I love my dog.
Oh. That's a good answer. I like that. So do you believe that your love is like a chemical response in your brain, or do you think it's something external?
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the most technical of senses, it is a chemical response produced by mineralogy. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't really consider myself like a hard materialist or physicalist, but I guess I would say that that's the case.
You think that love exists in a metaphysical sense then?
No, I don't. I have no idea if it does. I'm just saying that I don't think that all things exist that way, but I think love is probably just a response in the brain.
So could you think? Okay, so we went back to your topic about race. Could you think you could appeal to that to a person that you met on a bus that was espousing that the way that you're making a response to about like, oh, I love my dog.
Mm-hmm.
It's about humanity and your fellow man. You don't think that's a good?
No, I think it probably work.
Yeah.
That could. I mean, obviously, it depends on the person, right? Everyone's going to be receptive to different sort of rhetoric, right?
Because I think that we all, I mean, have some sort of scaling in our beliefs that we where we value different. I mean, and it's come down to tribalism and the people closest to you, the people you grew up around, the people you depend on, your pets, even your children, your offspring, your parents. You know,
right.
at some level, we scale all these people out as what's most valued in our lives and what we would fight the most for. You know, I'm sure that there's people that most of us would die for. So we all have a value that we place on individuals in our lives and our lives and in individuals who aren't so much in our lives. We still have different ways that we evaluate those individuals. So as we work our way out from that, and we start to notice that, you know, it's not following race lines, what we value about people. It's not following ethnicity. It's following their value as a human and their contribution maybe to the society that they share with us, the people who contribute positively to the world that we live in. So we have a kind of a branching out of value that we're placing on different people in our society. And as we branch out and look at that, look at that spectrum, and we start to notice that, you know, race isn't necessarily coming into play so much as maybe socio-ecological, you know, factors, you know, what area someone grew up in, what kind of world they were exposed to. We start to notice that it's more sociological, these trends of whether these people are adding value to the world that we live in or not. And it's not necessarily their ethnicity.
I think you're talking about culture.
About culture?
I think that's what you're saying, like the social part of all of that, and like people's like, oh, they live in this side of town versus that side of town. I think you're talking about cultures and subcultures.
Oh yeah,
because there is no doubt in my mind that there is a black culture. It is very different than white culture.
You think there's more than one black culture though?
Oh, several.
Yeah,
several. There's
and they kind of mix, and yeah. That's where we get back into reparations and stuff about that, because it wasn't just their, you know, that these people were taken away from their homeland and as slaves. They were also taken away from their culture and any connection they had to where they came from or who those people were. So I mean, you got to take all that into consideration when you're evaluating the black person's value in our society and their contribution.
Did they say reparations?
What's that?
I will drink to that.
I don't disagree.
I was on a Mikey.
I'm sorry, I said a lot.
Well, I don't think Mikey did. Jenna invited me to Mikey's channel, and it was a 2-hour-long conversation.
It was
black
3
shit.
hours.
3 hours. Yeah, no, just solid black shit. I loved it.
It's my annual Juneteenth celebration.
It was a good stream. No, and you said reparations, and I'm like, yes, I can contribute to this, but that would make this an extra 3-hour-long stream, and I don't want to do that to Beck.
Yo, I'd love to talk to you about it sometime, though. I'd love to pick your brain about it.
Yo, run the check, man. Run the check. Everybody, U.S. government, run the check. Run the check. Run the check.
Be like Tim Black.
Look,
Cut the check.
I have a solution to this. Okay,
Cut the check.
because like everybody's objection to the idea of reparations is you don't want to make people who didn't necessarily do anything wrong pay for the wrongdoings of people who did do the wrong thing. But think about it, like there's a lot of corporations that have their funding came from old money, and all old money in the United States came from slavery, from the railroads, from cotton plantations. Like if you trace it back, all old money comes from slavery. So just tax the rich and everybody's happy.
No. It is the U.S. government's fault that we were put in that predicament. Black slaves were responsible for like the majority of the cotton in the entire world. We funded the entire South. We funded the majority of the North. We funded all the cotton in all of the goddamn world. And our payback is that we are demonized by the entire world for what? Shit you see on like the Hollywood put out? It's fucking bullshit. We are the reason this nation is rich. Cut the goddamn check.
And don't complain about it. Just cut the check. Don't ask no more questions. Don't have no rebuttals. And I had to cut the fucking check because you can't give me my culture back.
Can I just say that I don't think that it should just be money. I think it should be money and a piece of land because if it's just money, there's still people don't have to sell to them because they're black. It's bullshit.
No, okay.
Hunk of land wherever the fuck they want in the whole goddamn United States and get like 10 acres or something with a fucking house on it and then give them some money. Give them somewhere to fucking start out with instead of pushing them back in the fucking ghetto and fucking.
That's true.
No,
a lot of the wealth gap is in land.
Know that.
All of it.
It's fucking bullshit. It shouldn't be just money. It should be fucking land.
Your microphone's really muffled, B.
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah, I know.
Your mic's acting weird, B.
Yeah, he's had audio issues like all night.
It sounds like you have something over, like something covering the.
Or sounds like you got like a mic that's turned up, like the headset with the mic turned upward.
Yeah, can I get a number 5?
Hi, Jesus.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I had half of my headphone down by my chin, so that's probably why.
I don't know how far we're going to get into the reparations conversation, but I do want to say I think the only way that you're going to be able to remove these sort of capital inequities that came from 200 years of slavery, followed by Jim Crow South, followed by, an integration that wasn't really integrated, separate but not equal, right? You have 200 years of that society. The only way that you're going to fix that, at least in my opinion, is the complete and total destruction and removal of the foundational structures that built them in the first place.
Yeah.
So no more capitalism?
I mean, to be totally honest with you, I'm a socialist, so I don't want to see capitalism. But
yay, socialism!
I also think all those big ass companies that were built off the backs of slaves should be taken and fucking divvied up, and then everybody can, because they fucking built the goddamn companies. It's theirs. Give it to them.
Darn it.
And the thing is, when I talk about reparations, I do agree with you. It can't just be money because, one, and I say this, I like to argue with people a lot because people don't really have the term has been kind of utilized or turned into just like give us money, but reparations, it's not. Even though we've given other groups reparations, like Native Americans, the Japanese, Jews. Yeah, thank you. Them too. Fucking World War II vets got reparations. The white ones, though.
Notice all non people of color, except for Native Americans, right? But that would be the one exception.
They skinfolk.
Well, Native Americans are a great example of what happens when you ask for when the U.S. government offers up land as reparation. It shows you what they're going to give you.
Yeah. But I mean, we were promised land, right? We were never ever promised money. We were only ever promised land. People were like, well, there's no more land. You've given it to all the white people. And then you like intentionally cut us. I mean, and I could tell you so many stories about
there's shitloads of land. There's like 1 million unclaimed acres in Indiana alone.
No, fuck the land. Fuck the land, because who says I want to stay here? Give me what you owe, and I'm out. Cut the check.
But I mean, we had the opportunity where, like, just time after time after time, and no state has been untouched, where Black people had land, and the state was like, "Oh, you can do like." Well, it's not in the state, you know. I mean, a lot of times it was just the white people in the area being jealous and not wanting Black people to have anything, you know. And you see that with with Tulsa, what do you call it? Black Wall Street. But like a lot of people don't even understand that there are so many Black Wall Streets. There are lakes. There's so many lakes in the United States today that used to be Black towns. Like I mean, it's just been nothing short of a genocide. And there's nobody to call, because who was in the mob that came to kill us? The police.
Oops.
They were. This is exactly why, and people don't like to hear this because this pisses people off, but we're not going to get anywhere asking nicely.
No.
We're not going to get anywhere sitting here and engaging in you know, putting people inside the Congress and the Senate to do nothing, right? Like,
no,
this
let's
I'm
debate it.
I'm totally beyond like going to the government and being like, give us what you owe us. It almost be like walking up to the slave master and going, can I be free, please? Like, no matter how many times you ask nicely, the people who have the power will not relinquish it willingly.
No. And the whole reason that we're in this place to begin with is because politicians are stepping on Black people for votes. They are lying to their base to keep us separate. I mean, because like, honestly, there's not a lot of differences in the needs and wants of conservatives and liberals. Even just looking at the Build Back Better, like when you ask conservatives, do you, hey, how do you feel about Medicare for all? Or how do you feel about universal pre-K? Or how do you feel about, you know, paid leave time, you know, maternity and paternity? Like almost everything that was in both, you just ask them the question, like, do you like this thing? Conservatives loved it, like over 70%.
This thing for you, for clarification. Like, you have to ask the question for you and your family. If you ask the question for you, your family, and all the people that you think are sucking up welfare, their answer will very quickly turn from, I want free healthcare, to, well, they don't deserve it.
Oh, right? I've seen it.
Their answer will change. Well, their answer will change immediately. They'll go from, I love the idea of not having to pay medical bills for my grandmother. And then you go, well, neither will, you know, John down the street. And they're like, wait, John? Right. But John didn't work 30 years in a John Deere a fucking tractor factory. Right. John doesn't deserve this. It's like their total perspective just totally flips upside down when you start including people of color in the calculus.
I'll take my check, and I'll see y'all later. Just I'll go back to Africa. Shit, I will roll out.
I'm sorry to tell you this, Mikey. You're not getting that fucking check.
No, man, it's totally gonna happen. I'm gonna get that check, and I'm out of here.
No, Democrats are gonna campaign for like the next 200 years, and it's never gonna happen.
You'll get that check. You'll get that check when conservatives have given up demonizing us for votes.
Do you think I have a serious question. Do you think the DNC is going to give their voting base, right, their biggest contingency voting block being Black Americans? Do you really think they're going to solve all of their problems so that half of them go somewhere else and then they lose elections for the rest of time?
Sounds like their problem.
Yeah.
They have no incentive to serve the interests of their constituency. They only have an incentive to get reelected.
Exactly. But this is why I got in shit the other day, because I was talking to somebody and I was like, I think that Democrats let Roe v. Wade get kicked on purpose so that they can campaign on, well, we got to reinstate Roe v. Wade. I literally think that, like, it was an all blue Congress and there were lots of opportunities to safeguard against this happening, and they didn't do it because abortion is a powerful bargaining chip when it comes to U.S. politics.
Can we don't like the Supreme Court? I mean, it's nice, but they can legislate. What do you call it? National. What do you? Oh God.
Federally.
Federal. Yeah, for federal, they can federally legislate like that abortions have to be legal, like that they can't like take away a woman's right to choose. They can legally legislate it right now today if they wanted to. They won't.
This is why electoralism doesn't work.
Well, this is why people are saying they're the same.
Later.
Well, yeah.
Sorry. Bye.
Bye.
It's okay. I've been having fun talking to you guys. I'll see you.
Always. See you Saturday in your stream.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, show real quick before you leave.
Saturday, 9:30 Central Standard Time, live from the Hive. I don't know what we'll be talking about, but it's always something fun. So
live from the Hive. I like that.
Yeah, Mikey, you should drop by sometime. Saturday mornings.
Oh shit. Morning. Oh shit.
Yeah.
It's a big
Think of like Saturday morning cartoons. You get up and have some cold pizza and watch Live from the Hive.
It's gonna be a no from me dog on the morning.
Morning.
All right. See you later, guys.
Bye. Bye, Bree.
Bye.
Now, a lot of people are saying like they're the same. I mean, and they largely are, especially since Citizens United. And the biggest thing is like the the establishment, like pretty much everybody that's not progressive. They want the same thing the Republicans want, more money for the rich, because the more money the rich have, the more money they give to them in their campaigns. We don't give to their campaign fund. So fuck us, fuck all of us, because we don't give them money. They are working for the people that give them money. And I mean, that's really all it is. And I mean, I don't know, like part of me, like the part of me that wants to get mad is just like, it's not personal. It's all about money. And that's all it's ever been. I mean, throughout all of time, you know, I mean, we're lucky they allow us to be educated, honestly, because, you know, back, you know, you're looking at like centuries ago, it was only for the education was for the super elite.
Shit's going to get real personal here in a while though.
We're lazy though. Like, I mean, if you see it, like, I don't know. There's a lot of shit that's going on. Like when I look at what's going on in India and France, and oh God, what's the South American country that just got a socialist president?
Venezuela.
No, not Venezuela. Chile.
Yeah. No, so proud of them. Holy shit. I mean, there are people doing things, and like we tweet.
Well, I mean, the thing is, right, is that this is the wheels of social progress. Eventually, people will get fed up and tired with their material conditions, and they will decide that the only alternative to being disenfranchised is to take their rights by force, to take what they are owed by force. And I've been sounding the alarm bells for years. I'm like, folks, if we don't make an active effort to satisfy the material needs and conditions of people of color in America, especially poor people of color in America, don't be shocked in 30, 40 years when the riots in places like Georgia, or places like Atlanta, right?
Atlanta go turn up.
I mean, if you thought the BLM riots in 2019, 2020 were bad, right? Imagine what happens when there's people who feel like they have no other political alternative but violence. It's like, congratulations, you've just awoken a mob of millions of people who will not stop rioting until they get what they want.
But it's going to happen on both sides though this time.
Yeah.
I mean, both sides are very unhappy for albeit different reasons. And what the right is doing to their base is really dangerous. They've got to get a handle on that, because they are already showing themselves to be uncontrollable monsters. And I really don't know what the plan is with that. I mean, I understand that part of them wants to be like, no, we can't teach them facts and logic, because then they'll realize that we're not doing shit for them, but lying to them. But another part of me is like, these
the plan is controlled opposition.
Tried to I mean, they went to polling places with guns and started demanding that poll workers come out. They tried to kidnap a governor. They tried to behead the vice president of the United States.
And that's just the start of what they're going to do.
Like, they've got to get a goddamn hand on this. And I'm like, what part of you thinks this is manageable?
They won't. They won't. You know what they want? They want a ready-made militia of millions of white conservative Americans to counteract any protests that happen from largely Americans of color in the future.
Jenna, get your ass in here.
Do you want to know? Oops, sorry. You know what's really garbage about this whole thing, though, with the way they displayed
you belong here. I'm sorry.
Sorry. You know what's really garbage about how they displayed the conflict that happened here in Indianapolis after George Floyd? So I live here, and I frequent the downtown area here, and we were at a couple of the demonstrations that happened here. And what happened without fail is the police would cause a bunch of damage, and then the news would come through the next day and see, look how violent these people are.
Yes.
When what literally was happening was they declared an unlawful curfew.
Yes.
And told people they couldn't be on the street in the neighborhoods that they lived in.
Yes.
And then when people continued, we had sit-ins basically where like people were literally sitting on the ground and holding signs. And they were doing this thing where they were like listing off the names of people who'd been killed by police. And then they would come in, they'd say, you're not allowed to be here. And then the police would start the riot. And this happened every single time. They started the riot, and then they shot out the windows of the banks. They shot out the windows of all the businesses downtown because they were firing rubber bullets fucking everywhere. But then the news comes in the next day. Oh, look how violent these people are. Yeah, look how violent these police are. Why don't you cover it? Why don't you do your fucking job?
It's the exact same thing that happened during walkouts and sit-ins in the early 60s and the late, I guess you'd say, like roughly 20s and 10s, when like the civil rights protests were really roaring up in the Jim Crow South. You saw there was reports of basically police, and I hate to call them really police, they were really just like slave patrol, just running around the South trying to get freed slaves and basically frame them and then eventually lynch them. And it literally was as simple as any time you would see a primarily black protest, they would walk in, they would litigate, destroy property, and then print a newspaper that said, black rioters and looters decided that violence was the only, like, look at these animals. If you see these people in your neighborhood, shoot first. Like, that's the kind of shit. Exactly, right? And they'll frame it as self-defense. They'll frame it as protecting your community. They'll frame it as whatever they need. Exactly. Why do you think stand your ground laws and castle doctrine laws were written primarily in the 20s, 30s, and 40s? It's like none of these things are accidents. It's like these laws don't just accidentally get written.
Well, I mean, I hope y'all have fun with the whole race war. I'll be in Canada. I'm dead. I'm leaving.
If you think there aren't racists in Canada, you're wrong.
No, I think Vancouver is a much more palatable place than St. Louis, the city of my birth.
There's only 2 people in Canada.
Dude, there you go.
There's one Frenchman and one Canadian.
It's literally just Canadian. Randolph and
Paulie and Neil.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, there's 3. No, actually there are 4 because we got Randolph, Neil, Ollie, and Dave.
Don't forget about Dick.
Oh, Dick.
Only Dick allowed and not in my chat. That's right.
And then what's his face? Quiet Gorilla's up there. He says,
Ollie man's been in chat.
You don't know. He's kind of quiet. You got to pry it out of him.
Oh, it would have been so fun if we kept naming Canadians and we kept leaving Canadian Ollie man out of it. Like that.
That's great. Okay, you guys. I'm tired and I have to get ready and I work and I have to go get labs in the morning and shit. So I'm gonna get off of here. Ben's gonna take over. Thank you, Ben, for doing that. I just want to say real quick, everybody in the chat and everybody on the panel, thank you so much. You know I love you guys. And I know I've been a little quieter tonight, but we switched to a topic that is not I can't personally speak about. So I was letting the people that can fucking say what they have to say. I love you guys. Carry on the conversation. I'll go back and watch it all later. Peace out. Take care of each other.
Yeah, that's why I'm sitting back as well and letting y'all talk.
Ben.
On that note, then I probably talked way too much.
Oh, you're fine.
No, I'm sorry.
We allow it.
Somebody said reparations, and I think I kind of.
I just have I just have the tiniest little sliver of a white savior complex. Just the tiniest bit. I'm very sorry.
To answer this one question in the chat, my attending didn't show up today, so I went home. Woo! And hopefully my attending's coming tomorrow so I can actually start my new rotation. We'll see. We'll see if they show up tomorrow.
Oh, you're starting psychiatry, right?
Hey, Speckle.
Yeah, I went to the psych hospital today and my attending didn't show up, so I sat there and waited for my attending to show up, and I got sent around multiple places in the building for someone who might know where I was supposed to go.
Yep.
And then my
May
attending
God have
never
mercy
showed
on
up.
your soul.
So I went home.
No,
so that's how. Yep.
Hey, but we got you, and we're so excited about that. No, but I think this is a really good time to kind of bring you back in, because earlier you were talking about allyship and you know, what is needed, and I think I don't want to say it's the same, but I mean, when we're talking about allyship, I think allyship is similar for most groups. It's a lot of like awareness, having an understanding of, you know, what's going on with other groups, knowing when you should speak up, when you should shut up, and asking a lot of questions when you don't understand. And I know on my part, you know, earlier I was saying, you know, I'm constantly asking myself if I'm a trans ally, and I never really feel like I try to be one. I really do try to be one. I'm slowly working on pulling my family left on like just the whole LGBT thing. And I say it like that sounded bad, but like they're bigots. My family, I come from a family of bigots. I can say it. I am Maya, and I come from a family of bigots.
Hi, Maya.
But they're a lot further left than they used to be. And I want to pat myself on the back there. I feel like it's my small way of making the world a better place, lessening the severity of bigots in the world. And, you know, again, it's part of like having those conversations, not writing people off just because they say something that you don't like, and planting those seeds, and having an understanding of the big picture and where it is where you need to be, and what that looks like for yourself and your friends. And if I can humbly ask to be at least a trans friend, if not necessarily an ally.
Request denied. I speak for all of the trans people that I'm not a part of. We have decided to get out. Maya,
Fair. I admit it. I don't get it. And I have to be real. Like I you know, for the guys coming over to, you know, it's like, well, of course you want to be a girl. We're the best sex. But a girl wanting to be a guy, like that's just really foreign to me. It's like, wait a minute, you're already like you're already there.
Listen,
number one.
I've never known what it's like to actually be a woman, because I've never been a woman, and it's I feel the same way about trans women. Yeah. No, but it's I mean, it's kind of a joke we have within ourselves. Like, I don't understand trans women because I don't understand anyone who is a woman. Like, I just don't get it. My brain does not work that way. And they say the same thing about us.
As a cisgendered man, let me tell you, I have no idea how women or men work. I just walk around. Guessing. Yeah, that's just roll a d20. Does this work for you? Does this work?
Do it.
I appreciate what you've said, Maya. I think that, you know, you are a very empathetic and caring person.
Ooh.
If that means anything coming from me, but
she's not.
I think that it is really challenging to understand how your allyship works, because, like, for example, you know, we were talking about race issues, and it's really hard sometimes to know whether I'm doing the right thing, because Black people are not a monolith. different people have
Thank
different
you so much
feelings
for
about
saying
different
that.
issues. So like I have run this I've run this habit of being very, very obnoxious, which grates against people sometimes, but it's because I'm trying to help. But like, you know, it is when you're getting different feedback from different people about, well, you should do this or this or this or this or this, and everybody kind of has a different opinion, it makes it a little bit harder. But I think that everybody can probably appreciate that you care and that you try.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all I can do is try, and it's not going to be enough for everybody. I understand that. I know there's, I mean, well, I think with any group, there's a lot of infighting, and I try to tell people that too. I mean, you can only do so much, and I mean, it's hard for me, and I'm constantly watching YouTube videos on, okay, what are the youngins doing? Because the young Black experience, very different than, you know, the over 40 Black experience. And it's important to understand that what one person thinks isn't necessarily, you know, the trans or the Black or, you know, the whatever overall thing. What we're looking for is patterns across the group. And even when if I am speaking, when I speak on behalf of the Black community, that's what I'm trying to do. It's like kind of tantamount to, you know, Ben talking about the scholarly consensus on, you know, this medical procedure or thought or understanding. Because like if you ask any one physician, they're going to have a nuanced opinion on, you know, what this looks like, or their anecdotal experience within their community is going to be different for every, you know, almost every physician really. And you know, I understand that's the same. Well, it's the same for Black people. Thank you for saying we're not a monolith, because politicians still haven't gotten that through their head. And I have no reason to believe that it's not the same with,
Blacks love me.
You know,
I'm loved by
trans
the
and
Blacks.
other things, you know, other.
I have many Blacks.
I have all the Blacks.
I held a rally yesterday, and all the Blacks were there.
I have way more Blacks than you, obviously.
I love the Blacks. All the Blacks love me.
Quite frankly, I love the Blacks. They're great.
You know, I never thought I'd be offended by someone saying, like, adding an S to something. But as soon as he says the Blacks, I'm just like, what the fuck do you mean by the Blacks?
Yeah.
It's like that one video where the guy's like, what exactly do you mean by that? As he holds his hand.
Yeah.
Like if someone's like, you know, the transes. I'm real big with the transes. It's like, what? Wait. Like, what are you saying?
It's so cringy.
What are you saying to me right now?
Or like the gays.
Yeah,
I mean,
the gays
yeah.
love me. Like, do I fight you now? How does this work? Do I hit you?
Yeah, and that's something that I've noticed, especially like within the trans community too, and the assumption that all trans people are the same, but even that trans women specifically speak for all trans people. And like even that, like we've got trans guys who my experience being trans is nowhere near the same experience of a trans woman. We go in very different directions. Yeah. So like and of course you can't generalize it all with all trans men or all trans women, but like the fact that trans women seem to be the spokespeople for all trans people, like we're not the same experience at all.
Right. Well, and dare I say that trans women seem to be more picked on, like in general by society? I don't know. That's what I see.
Well, okay, there's a lot to dig into there. We're picked on in different ways, very different ways. And I think a lot of that is related to society and how they view masculinity and femininity, because people who are assigned male at birth are leaving their man status for something lesser, and that's seen as bad. But then also people that are assigned female are seen as always being lesser and trying to attain something that we can never earn. So it's like we're barely given the time of day anyway. We're taught from a younger age that our say doesn't matter, and that we're told to not be confident, and so a lot of trans guys we approach the world as if no one wants to hear us, and so there's an extent to like, so I think where a lot of the focus ends up being on trans women, but there's a lot in both directions. It's a very, very nuanced situation.
That makes sense. I can imagine like some ignorant cis man going like, you're just like penis envy unleashed, or something, along that route.
And then something too, where trans guys often do have an advantage is that a lot more of us can pass and go stealth. It's a lot easier for most trans men to go stealth than a trans woman. So a lot of trans guys will just not out themselves as being trans, and then people just don't know.
I have a dumb question.
Yes,
I have a dumb question for all of my trans friends. How is it any of my business what you do? I'm just trying to figure out, because they seem to be having this problem, and now I'm feeling like I'm stupid. So like what you do with your life has how much of an effect on me as a person?
Really nothing.
It's so fundamental and so weird, but I can't even anymore.
They're all sucked into this rhetoric, like as if like someone that is a trans male or trans female, they're all sucked into the rhetoric like, now marriage is under assault. like they're sucked into a rhetoric that snowballs, and it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't.
What's the logical fallacy? The logical fallacy that like this has nothing to do with the conversation.
Slippery slope, red herring.
Non sequitur, right? Because whether or not trans people exist does not affect whether or not you can get married.
Yeah.
Texas sharpshooter. I don't know. I'm late.
What's next? You're gonna marry a house? Like, you know how they do that, and it's just like this.
I don't know. There's a lady that married the Eiffel
rhetoric.
Tower. She's off her best life.
Yeah, but if I don't turn it around to be something about me, how do I play the victim?
Right, exactly.
Christmas is under assault.
Exactly.
Like,
Christmas is under assault.
No one celebrates your shit, bro.
I said Merry Christmas at my local diner, and I got shot.
Christmas is under assault. And I know that because I was gifted a rainbow Christmas tree yesterday.
You were gifted a rainbow tree? Oh my gosh.
I was gifted a rainbow tree yesterday, and I'm gonna make hundreds of trans flag ornaments to put on it. So
Did you see Ken Ham, how he had like an opening video? It was Ken Ham, and he's like all serious. His serious music's playing, and he's in sandals on the beach with pants and everything. He's carrying like a Christian flag or something. He's and he's like, we need to take a stand. Marriage is under assault. LGBTQ people are assaulting the very foundation of our relationships and family. And he's like, I'm going to take a stand in the sand. He plants like a Christian flag in the sand, like to fight the LGBTQ.
What's a Christian flag?
Yeah, a Christian flag has like a blue field and a red cross, and
that's white supremacists got a hold of that bitch instantly.
It's a flag with Christian J. Watkins.
It's my face. I'm the icon for white supremacist Anglo-Saxon Christian American.
Icon living.
There's a hilarious story that I want to tell really quickly. It's really short, but I think it's topical. I was talking to one of my uncles on the white side of the family, and I was having a conversation with him, and he was like, and I won't do his accent because it's probably rude, but he has a very thick Southern accent, and he was I'm really sad that I can't say Merry Christmas anymore. And I said, wait, you can say it right now. And he's like, someone could hear me. And I'm like, we're not in a fucking spy movie. Like we're in a fucking diner in Midwest Wisconsin. Just say Merry Christmas. And he goes, okay, Merry Christmas. And I said, Antifa. and I put my hand over. And this man goes like this. What?
Yeah.
He like looks around. It was great. Oh,
they're like drawing in the sand with their foot. They're like, I can't say the words out loud, but here's a Christmas tree and a Christmas star and a manger.
Yeah. When I still worked in retail, I had to learn to do this weird, delicate dance of knowing which people I could say happy holidays to without starting a huge fucking fight.
It's a lose-lose, right? You're trying
And
to be
it's like,
polite.
you know, it really was ridiculous because like not a lot of Christians anymore even wear like the cross necklaces or whatever. So it's like, how am I supposed to know? Only like 65% of people are Christian anymore.
You want to know the cheat code to that? As someone who worked in food service for a while, the cheat code to that, whenever someone leaves or whenever you get, like, as soon as they get up to the register, right? This is the question you ask them. If you're decently close to Christmas, you can ask them, well, what are your plans for the next couple of weeks? And if they go, well, I'm probably going to head over to my grandmother's and have a Christmas. It's like, then, you know, you can say Merry Christmas. But if they go, I'm going to volunteer, you can say Happy Holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
It's a good barometer.
I think the atheist should take over Christmas, much like Jack Skellington did in that documentary. And
That's a documentary, yes.
Documentary.
We should just totally take it over. Making Christmas, making
See,
Christmas,
I am of the opinion.
tra-la-la.
I'm of the opinion that Halloween is really just Pride 2.0.
Now hold on.
Yeah.
Now hold on.
I like that.
You can't have that one.
Every day it's Halloween.
Everyone can celebrate it too. But I mean, just think about how queer of a holiday it is. Like it is.
Because if black,
if
black people tried to take New Year's, y'all would be mad. So no, I ain't giving y'all. Y'all don't get Halloween.
We can't even do anything for New Year's anymore.
It can't even say New Year, Happy New Year anymore. It's the attack on New Year's.
We can't even.
No, but like,
what?
Do you know everybody that was in Times Square on New Year's this year should be put on the terrorist watch list?
Oh my god!
Because we have like 9 new kinds of COVID.
I said happy birthday to my boss at a meeting, and then he had sex with my wife.
You know,
this is a war on New Year's.
I just said Happy Arbor Day to my neighbor, and he cut all my trees down.
All your trees? He didn't leave one tree spared.
Not a tree was left standing.
You know, my favorite part about it is like there's all these stories about Christians who will like burn the fucking like store down if you don't say Merry Christmas. Not one story ever of like a Jewish person, a Muslim, an atheist,
That's not true.
Looking where like
I've experienced it in retail where someone swings the other way. So like I would work for a company that would say Merry Christmas. We're a Merry Christmas company, and every time you say it, you're like, please don't hit me, because it's California.
Oh, you're California. I mean, you guys know your own separate country. Right?
And I have been yelled at for saying Merry Christmas, even though I was required to say Merry Christmas. So yeah.
Merry Chrysler.
By a Jewish lady. She yelled at me.
Really? No, they don't do that up here.
I don't give a fuck if somebody yell at me. I'll yell back. Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, like, and the East Coast and Middle and New England, people are just like live and let live. Like somebody says Merry Christmas, it was just like, okay, well, that's what they celebrate. So it's like,
yeah, it's
my response to all of it is just thank you. So whenever someone says Merry Christmas, I go thank you. I had one person ask me, they were like, why didn't you say Merry Christmas back? And I was like, because I don't want to talk to you right now. I came here to get food and then leave. I didn't come here to like exchange Christmas pleasantries with some random person at the counter. You said Merry Christmas. I said thank you. Like, what is that rude? If someone says Happy Holidays or whatever,
you just persecuted that Christian.
I don't know.
Bad.
They act like I just took Jesus off the cross and burned him.
You could have said Happy Hanukkah.
Can we normalize rudeness? Because everyone's rude to me. But as soon as I start giving a little bit of like, there's that angry black man again. I'm like, no, bro, fuck your shit. I don't care. Stop talking to me if you don't like me.
It's your exaggerated swagger. Mikey.
Yes. I'm very animated.
Yeah,
it's not my fault.
I just think, like, yeah, generally anybody wishing you happy holidays should be graciously accepted. This is my opinion. And then, return generally. But like, if the thing is, as I also think, though, there's some people that, there is an assumption that most people default to Christmas. Like people make these assumptions, and I can see that gets old, you know. So like that's why people try to meet in the middle is happy holidays, and I don't know why happy holidays has to be an affront to somebody. It just seems like it's all encompassing. It's so bizarre.
So, yeah, when I was growing up, happy holidays there's a bunch of fucking holidays. You had Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, just smack you in the face. It was just like, rather than saying happy thanks to Christmas, New Year, it's just, yeah, hey.
Happy fake Jesus birthday.
I have a solution.
Be happy for all of these things.
You know how they put out the candy for everything like super early? That's the only thing you're allowed to say.
Candy
Merry Candy Early Day?
Well, because I mean, right now they're about to drop all the Easter candy on y'all. So now it's gonna be Happy Easter, and you just say the shit completely.
Bitch, it's January.
They don't give a motherfuck. That shit has already been shipped. It's already at the store of your.
Happy Peep Day.
Yeah, what up?
What happened to Valentine's Day?
What up, my peeps?
I need all the heart-shaped chocolates first.
That's true.
Peeps are an abomination against this planet.
I like Peeps in small quantities.
Oh, they're disgusting.
It's all sugar. Which, I mean, I love sugar, but just like the fact that it just tastes like nothing but sugar is too much for me.
Sugar. It's like sugar-flavored sugar. Like
sugar-flavored sugar. It's just too much. It's too much.
The marshmallow part's cool, and then the eyeballs are the part that isn't cool because the eyeballs are very hard. Like part of it. Have you ever noticed? Like next time you eat Peeps, if you so happen to, the eyeballs are hard.
You've actually eaten those things. Okay.
Yeah. No, I haven't done that since I was like 5 years old.
If I'm ever in a position where I'm eating the eye from a Peep, just shoot me.
The eye from the Peep.
It'll be a
Peeps are full of microchips and Peepus.
And Peepus too.
I should grab a Peepus. Thank you for reminding me, Dave.
Well, you know what I don't like? I don't like candy corn. So we're all.
What's a Peepus? Is that a penis?
It's an inside joke among the chat, I think.
I don't fuck with candy like that.
You don't like candy corns either?
You know what candy I like?
Candy corn.
Oh.
Do they still make that?
What's your favorite?
No, they do. They always have it.
My favorite candy is it's probably Nerds. I like Nerds.
Whoa, Nerds?
Sour. They're on the sour side.
No, I honestly didn't think they still made Nerds. I haven't seen them since the 90s.
This is Peepus.
What's
Peepus? Why is that Peepus?
Bullseye?
Is that a typo?
No, well, it's Pepsi, but it's cooler to call it Peepus because it sounds like penis.
Sounds like a typo.
The real sin here is just drinking soda at all. Soda's nasty.
Well, I'm gonna drink it anyway.
The silence between the two statements was the best part of it.
Well,
are we getting back into it? Are we getting back into the philosophical discussion about like objective morality and my soda consumption?
I know, right? Ben, is it morally responsible for you to drink that Pepsi?
I'm gonna drink my damn Peepus.
If you subscribe to moral error theory, then you will act like there's morals, but there really aren't any.
See, this is. Oh, Larry's back in. So this is part of my cult.
What is that?
Oh, it's a unicorn hat.
I'm sorry. I didn't think I was being let back in, so I was doing something else. How is everybody?
Is that?
No. I'm totally normal and not
a unicorn with dreadlocks?
I'm talking about my my Peepus cult. So I started a cult.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if Christian knows about my cult. You might know about my cult.
Oh, yes. I've heard. Word gets around.
The cult of the Peepus.
Okay, the cult of the Himalayan salt dildo. Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Peepus is a tenet of my religion now. So
some people have communion. There's Peepus.
I'm in the process of trying to obtain. I'm in the process of trying to obtain new housing, and so people are giving me stuff because they're being very nice to me. And somebody gave me one of those stupid Himalayan pink salt lamps. So if you would like, for your purposes,
they gave you a what?
To be carved into a dildo.
I don't have a lathe, so you'll have to do it yourself.
I can.
I'll
get Jonathan to carve it into it.
Very much a white people thing, Christian.
People think that Himalayan pink salt is magic. And it's just salt that's got like a slight impurity to it, so it's pink.
Rust.
Yep.
You said a lamp, didn't you?
Yes, it's a lamp. So people made lamps out of these because they think the salt is magic.
Okay, but disclaimer, like, yeah, okay, so there are the woo people that think it's magic, but there's also the people that think it's just a cool rock that, like, if you make a lamp out of it, it's a cool lamp. There's that side too. Like, it is kind of a cool, kind of a cool.
All I gotta say about that.
The same people with the Himalayan salt lamps, the same motherfuckers with a bowl to cleanse evil spirits and shit. Maybe
those are the same people who put only salt and pepper on their food.
Word. Ain't not a damn seasoning in that whole crib.
Their entire
basically,
spice cabinet is just onion powder.
It's all mostly
spicy black pepper.
It's mostly white Americans trying to fetishize Eastern culture is really what it boils down to.
I mean, yes, yeah.
I don't say nothing. I just let them do their thing.
Yeah,
that's don't piss off the Asians.
By the way, do not ever ask an older black woman for a recipe, because the recipe you're going to get back is a little bit of this, a little pinch of that, however much you need, eyeball it. There's going to be not a single measurement in that fucking page.
You got to stand there.
That's how you. Okay, but that's how you
exactly
food,
right.
Though.
You go how much you putting in there, Grandma? Oh, about a little bit.
Yeah,
a little more. That's how you cook. A little.
Like, we don't like break out the.
So this is one of those things.
No,
where
you just
I am a person who loves to cook food. Same. I love to cook food.
Same.
I'm a fat guy, and I got this way for a reason. But like, I am not one of those people that can just put salt on food and call it a day. So I'm staying with somebody else right now, and he only had 2 different things of Mrs. Dash, and that was all the seasoning that there was in the house.
Mrs. Dash?
And yes, just 2 of the different flavors of Mrs. Dash, and like that was it. And so I went out and spent like $45 on spices because you need more than Mrs. Dash to live.
What in the world?
But anyway,
I'm also
the only person in the house that likes spicy food.
I have a lot of spices.
I don't think I've ever had Mrs. Dash. Like, what is it?
Mrs. Dash is like, it's a seasoning blend that's got different stuff in it. So there's one that's like garlic and herbs. It's got like marjoram and oregano and bullshit in it. And then there's one that's like, it's like onion and stuff. And there's one that's like barbecue spices. But none of them are very good. And none of them have salt in them, which is a big problem for me.
No, it sounds like what's that bullshit? Italian seasoning.
Yeah, it's like that, where there's a bunch of random shit.
What are white folks' obsession with Italian seasoning?
Oh my god! You guys know Fabio?
Because it's the closest thing to ethnic food that most white people can tolerate.
Do you guys know Fabio and particularly Mowdy? Do you know Christopher Mowdy? He's showed up and so Mowdy. Oh god! So he has a story where he first meets Fabio and his wife, and they're like, "Oh, hi Shanna, hi Mowdy," and then Fabio's wife was in the kitchen and like saw Italian seasoning and went or Fabio did and said, "What is this?" And the wife was like, "Italian seasoning," and went to the garden and dumped it out. Like just straight out. Like, so I think Italians have opinions about Italian seasoning.
We like fish food.
You should ask Mowdy about it. It's really funny.
That's hilarious.
So, I like to use Italian seasoning when I just don't feel like doing herbs properly, because it's just a bunch of herbs and nothing else is all it is. It's like basil and oregano and thyme all in a bottle. It doesn't even really taste that good altogether, because personally I don't like thyme and basil in the same dish. But
why would you ever have dried herbs like that?
Because
there's 0 reasons to not just get like a fresh bundle for like 12 cents.
It's not 12 cents though. A bundle of herbs at Kroger is like $4 fucking.
I think it's good to
Do you
have
live on the moon?
No.
Are you
I live
judging?
in the city.
I think that there's some cases where you might want dry herbs, like, we're in a pandemic, maybe there's like shortage or whatever, then you can break down and use it. But like if everything's good, then use the fresh
right.
one.
All things being equal, of course you'd want the fresh stuff. But like
Now see, when I have my own land, I grow my own because that's just the cheapest way to do it. But I don't have my own land right now. I am landless.
Since we're talking about
delicious.
Since we're talking about herbs and plants and owning your own land, can we talk about the conspiracy theory that is kale?
I hate kale so much.
I'm gonna lay some knowledge on you. Okay.
You try to explain to me how these fucking dandelion bottoms are being sold at store at massive fucking prices.
Okay, but here I'm gonna tell you something. Aside from fiber, an apple has per gram for gram has more nutrition than kale. Kale is not a superfood. It does not have magic bullshit that's going to make you healthy, and it tastes bad.
I think it tastes fine if it's mixed with other things. Like if it's not the main part of a salad, but it's just like a little texture aspect to the salad. But
I'll go to my backyard and get you some grass and mix it.
I'm also a human trash can, so I've admitted that. I'm a human trash can.
I don't know why someone has gone through the trouble. Like, those little spiky things that grow in your yard sometime? I don't know why someone like took the effort to take all the spikes out and then rebrand it as kale, but that's exactly what it is.
Now, see, I do like greens though. I like dandelion greens and I like red oak like a lot.
I just have a burger with lettuce. It's basically a salad.
And peanut butter.
So for some reason, I just don't like vegetables. I don't. But if I'm going to break down and eat leaves, I want it to count. And I hate kale. So I'm going to eat spinach. I choose spinach.
I can handle spinach.
I would choose spinach over kale, definitely.
Broccoli. Can broccoli get an honorable mention? Broccoli is the shit.
I don't like broccoli.
Good too. I can only eat broccoli raw. I cannot eat broccoli. I can't eat broccoli cooked. It has to be raw.
Have you tried the Green Giant and Bird's Eye? They have like the bag frozen joint. It's riced broccoli.
I haven't tried that, no.
10 times better than any broccoli you've ever had. Steams up perfectly, and it's a nice texture.
I've done the cauliflower rice before, and I did cauliflower rice as part of like a casserole dish.
It's the bomb.
It was pretty good, and I don't even like cauliflower.
I have to be tricked into vegetables. My friend was like, trust me, I got you. I was like, okay, vegan challenge accepted. So she's like, I'm gonna cook you some vegetables, and it's like I can't do kale. I already put the thing like this is what I will not do. But like I think it was like lima beans or something I typically don't like a lot. But however they cooked them, it fooled me because there's a little bit of crunch, and there's like obviously a little bit of something flavoring in it or something, and I was like, okay, I could eat this. Okay, I could eat another one. So if you can fool me into eating vegetables, I'm open to it.
Yeah.
The last time I had salad, I was a baby.
Sorry. I find that when making stuff with veggies, start with something that you like where the vegetable is kind of already the main event. So like I like chili a lot, and all the stuff that makes chili good is vegetarian. So you get, so your tomatoes and onions and peppers and seasonings, all that stuff is, you know what I mean? It's produce.
Legumes. Okay.
Ain't not a damn vegetable in that I put in my
high note from the choir pedantic.
And, but I don't know, but beef has like a really distinct flavor as well, and it makes my chili taste like chili with beef in it.
But I'm saying, like, if you were trying to incorporate more vegetables into your diet, start with something where vegetables are already part of it, and then just add to it. So, like, when I make chili, I add zucchini to it instead of doing pasta.
Oh, what the fuck?
Because zucchini with red sauce is delicious.
I don't
any
trust
kind
you
of
no
red
more.
sauce.
It's
delicious.
I'm so sorry, but I don't believe you.
With shitloads of garlic and peppers, and then you just do the zucchini at the very end in like the last 10 minutes of cooking.
Have you guys had fried zucchini?
We're here for a good time, not a long time.
So I have no problem with putting zucchini in red sauce or putting zucchini in with chili, but it's no longer chili. It's now a soup.
But chili is already a soup.
Out of here, man.
Yeah, but it's not. Chili is a distinct type of soup that it should not have zucchini in it.
Chili's not a soup.
Chili's not a soup. It's too
Look,
thick.
people, we've got to get this straight. We've got to come to terms and definitions here. Chili is not a soup. Hot dogs are not sandwiches.
Tacos are sandwiches.
Stop it.
What?
All right, how do I kick spackle?
The absolute
What's the legal definition of a sandwich?
The legal definition of a sandwich?
The definition
legal
of a
definition of a sandwich is a not hot dog.
No, okay. The definition of a sandwich is if you have the carb on two sides, two opposite sides, it is a sandwich.
Not true. That's not true. There's open face sandwiches.
Okay. Oh no.
So
there was a diagram. Hold on.
If tacos aren't sandwiches, then gorditas are.
Tacos are not sandwiches. And
gorditas.
And cereal is not soup either.
There's a diagram for this. Hold on.
Chili is a stew.
I'll go with Dave on that. I'll be willing to call chili a stew.
I agree. Stew sounds right. Yeah, it's chunky.
It's a stew, but
it's chunky. It's got some.
Stew has to have potatoes or other root vegetables.
No, it does not.
Fucking shit.
No, it does not.
A dish of meat and vegetables cooked slowly in liquid and closed in a dish or a pan. Ouch.
Okay, well then chicken noodle soup is a stew.
Yeah, probably.
Larry's just being ridiculous.
If it's got meat and
if you haven't noticed, I'm kind of a
got
brat.
body to it. Yeah, I would say so. I
Is
think
cereal
soup? Like no
Titan-
cereal's not.
Cereal
says the ocean is a soup then.
The ocean is
Do
a
you
soup.
eat the ocean? Is it a
It's
food
got
item?
salt in it.
Is it a food item?
Is the ocean a food item?
You could eat the ocean.
You could?
Can you though?
This is actually a really important exercise.
Can you eat freedom?
We're all slowly realizing that all of these social categories that we put on different things are really fuzzy at the margins.
Yeah.
It's actually not clear.
This
what
is
a
a
lot of-
microcosm of the whole
you're just making more shit up. Chili
No,
is
that's
not
how you
soup.
can. That's how you can tell if something is a food or not. Does it go
Here's
fuzzy?
the cube rule.
There's the cube.
Oh, that's not real though. Somebody made that up.
Sandwich, taco.
Someone made up every word we have.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I have a serious question, Ben. Does that mean that pigs in a blanket are sushi?
Yes.
Yes.
Because
by this
everybody wants
definition,
to
yes.
be
This
blasphemous.
is absolute heresy.
Oh.
All right, I just want to go on
Okay,
record as
would
saying
you
I
like
hate
to
you
propose
all.
alternate definitions?
Yes.
This is concrete.
Yes,
This is concrete.
A sandwich, while fuzzy at the margins, typically defines something that is placed on top of some sort of carb.
Now wait a minute. No, wait. Let's clarify that. I think it needs to be a loafed baked item.
I don't know about that because there's like unleavened bread.
But is that what's an unleavened bread sandwich? Who's ever made that?
Just a
You know what, a matzah sandwich.
Literally called a flatbread.
Yeah,
sandwich.
it's actually an item that people sell like all over the world. It's actually really
It's a
popular.
flatbread pizza. That's a pizza.
Well, no.
I'm sorry.
If you just put if you put like a sauce, a cheese element, and like a toppings, then you're obviously attempting to make a pizza.
Okay.
Yes.
There's mayo or sauce.
So a turkey sandwich is pizza then?
No.
No, because there's
no,
because that's bread on the top and on the bottom. That's
heretical?
not a pizza.
Sure, on the edges, there's going to be things that fit into both categories because these are arbitrary categories that we're building post hoc, right? These things already exist and we're just defining the categories on the outside of them. But generally speaking, right, it is possible that a hot dog qualifies as both a sandwich and something else, right? But a hot dog is certainly not exclusively a sandwich. It fits other categories.
If I was trying to describe a sandwich to somebody, I wouldn't use a hot dog.
Well, right. Well, if I was trying to describe someone who got bitches, I wouldn't describe you. Like we can play this game.
Damn.
I'll fucking
Damn, I got hard.
So basically, what to summarize? Basically, we have yellow, green, and blue. We have things that are yellow, and we have things that are blue, and we have some things that are green, which could accurately be described as not blue, but that doesn't necessarily make them yellow.
No, hot dogs are not sandwiches. Full stop.
Neither are tacos.
Tacos are not sandwiches. And
Why?
hot dogs are not tacos. So just stop it.
But we can all
That's
agree that
ridiculous.
tacos are delicious.
So let's
Everybody
find
loves the taco.
let's start
Wait,
here.
the chat would like to weigh in, so I'm going to speak
Too
for
bad
people
for
who
them.
are
Too
not
bad
here.
for them. They should have clicked the link. So let's think of a ham sandwich.
Jeez.
What
I'm
are
gonna
the
put
elements of
Okay.
the ham sandwich, and let's break those down first, and then I think that'll give us the guidelines we need, and then that'll let us know what is and isn't. Because I
Okay.
think we can all agree that a ham sandwich is in fact a sandwich.
Right.
Yes.
You're not going to be using a fucking tortilla to make a ham sandwich.
I feel like if you make
can,
a
it'd just be
ham
a wrap.
sandwich with Wonder
See?
Bread, then I don't call it a sandwich because Wonder
that's
Bread
just
is not
elitism.
actually bread.
That's just
I
elitism.
would agree with that.
Some people only are able to get Wonder Bread. You elitists, okay? Just because you don't think Wonder Bread's good enough for your caucasity, okay, doesn't mean that we can't have it, okay?
Oh.
It's still a sandwich.
This is poor people's loaf.
I don't know. Like,
Yes,
with
but
Wonder Bread, don't you have to have mayo? Like,
We
you
don't-
put the mayo on the Wonder Bread. Isn't that how that goes?
Oh God.
I don't
Okay, that
eat
doesn't
mayo.
matter.
I'm not one of those people.
Yeah, mayo's
I-
pretty
I-
nice.
But are,
No,
are you truly white though?
I ate
No.
mayo.
Hey, look. So Christian was talking about having a white side of the family.
Yeah,
I have
it's
a
true.
white side of the family and a whiter side of the family.
So is the whiter
There's
side
a
the
way to
kind that
describe
likes
that.
white bread?
There's the
Yes.
caucasity, and then there's the audacity of the caucasity. That's how you can
Yeah.
describe that from now on.
Ah.
Did you know artisan bread and Wonder Bread are the same price in my city?
Oh, well then get the good stuff.
Well, I don't know. Like that's the thing. The only reason why I don't like Wonder Bread is because when I bite on it, it sticks to the roof of my mouth, and then I'm like, I need milk or something to wash it down.
Yep.
Wow.
Mm.
I just really
My-
quickly, because Puck said something really important. By the way, hi Puck, good to see you. I never understood thin crust pizza. Might as well be cheese on a cracker.
No,
I
it
want
is.
pizza so thick it
It
might as well
is.
be lasagna. Puck is so fucking based.
Yeah.
I love
So
This is
thin
just
crust
absolute-
pizza.
Facts though.
I don't appreciate Puck personally attacking me like this. As someone from St. Louis, known for its thin pizza, who now lives in Chicago,
Yeah.
known for its deep dish pizza.
Known for its
Deep dish
thick
pizza.
pizza.
No,
Puck-
deep dish
Puck-
pizza. Yeah.
Puck,
Yeah,
just at me next time, Puck. Just be brave enough and at me, okay?
Yeah.
I
So
don't need you criticizing my life choices.
No, deep dish pizza over cheese and
Yeah.
crackers. I'm just saying though.
So the reason
Puck,
why
you're welcome. Puck, you're welcome in if you want to show your agenda.
I defend deep dish pizza and cracker pizza because I think the experiences are really different. So if you eat like the thin crust pizza, you're gonna taste a lot of the toppings first. You're gonna get hit in the face with a lot of tomato, especially if you get like the really fresh ones. Like there's like all this like taste that you get from the toppings. And then if you go for the deep crust, you're getting a really fulfilling pizza. You know, like the crust can be itself can be really yummy. Like it's just a different experience. I think they're both good.
Okay, so what about Lunchable pizza?
Not
No.
pizza. No.
No,
Wait, it has all the essential ingredients.
It has
No.
all the essential ingredients of a
Ben,
pizza.
mute
No.
yourself.
no.
Mute yourself. For bringing up Lunchable pizzas. Mute
Those,
Yeah.
yourself.
those Lunchable
Hey,
pizzas, like,
no,
I don't.
it is a
I don't wanna
it's a
pretend
valid
like they
it's a
weren't
valid
good.
point though. Well, like
It-
what are
it-
the criteria if
but
we're
is it
defining
not?
a pizza? What qualifies a
can't be
Lunchable
elitist.
pizza as not being a pizza?
We can't
Okay,
be
is
elitist.
it lack-
The
Lunchables are
Lunchable.
Ben, if you're calling Lunchable pizza real pizza, you've been eating too much army food.
Oh no, not real. There is no such thing as
No.
real pizza.
What is real pizza? What
It's just
are
pizza
these
and not
definitions?
pizza.
Real pizza is a meatball sub from Subway.
Okay.
I can't explain to you how
I
much I
just
hate
threw
that.
up in my mouth.
Aunt Jer though, Aunt Jer's starting to
As someone who used to work at Subway, that was
Starting to
deeply
fight.
Oh
painful.
God,
Yeah.
she's trying to create the singularity.
Lunchable pizza with pineapple on it. Can we ban people? Like, is that,
Yeah.
is that something that we can do?
I
Who's
do
a
like
He's got a
pineapple.
spanner.
How do you ban him on?
Can we just
I've
get people out of this chat?
I've been informed by an
Okay.
Italian that I can eat pineapple pizza and enjoy it, which I do, but I cannot call it pizza. It now is pineapple flatbread.
Oh, okay.
Is
Wait, I'm-
pizza
All right.
uniquely Italian?
No.
Not really.
It depends on the type of pizza. Like traditional Italian pizza was not like sauce layer, cheese layer,
Let me just
topping layer, right?
let me type
That's
into Google here. Origin story pizza.
American pizza.
But since somebody brought up white bread, the only edible bread is 12 grain bread.
Ooh,
That is
that's
all.
with the nuts and things on it.
Are you saying that if there was 11, you wouldn't eat it?
Yes.
Are you trying to
There's
trigger me
definition.
because I can't
This is a
stand that
silly
bread?
That's goofy.
No,
That's
I like
absolute goofy stuff.
I love 12 grain bread,
Are you telling me
especially
you can taste each
the
individual
brownberry
grain?
bread.
Are you a vegan?
Is that the
Why?
claim?
Oh.
Can you
Who
taste?
said I'm a vegan?
I need an answer to this question, Larry, because I'm having an existential crisis.
Okay,
Are
I'm
you
sorry,
telling
go ahead.
me? Are you telling me that you can taste the difference between 11 and 12 grain bread?
No,
Hell
I was
yeah.
being a brat.
Okay, got it. Just making sure.
Okay.
Because that I feel like that extra grain doesn't make that much of a difference.
Larry, you in Chicago? Or are you just a Cubs fan?
No, I am not. I am in Indianapolis.
Oh, okay. How about saying you ain't back me up on this fucking deep dish shit? That's fucked up, Larry. You over here?
No, I don't like
50
I don't
miles
like
away.
deep dish pizza. No, I don't like deep dish pizza. And it's not really like the flavors of it are bad. It's just a very unpleasant eating experience compared to thin crust pizza.
It's a sit down, relaxed experience.
It's a sit down with a fork,
knife and fork.
Yeah, but I don't want a fork when I'm eating pizza.
Well,
forking leads to.
Oh, but do you know what? I'm gonna really piss off the chat. My favorite pizza comes from Donato's.
Who?
I have no idea what that. I don't know what that is.
From what?
Is that like the Red Robin pizza shit?
Not, wait,
Is
Donato's
that
is a
Red Robin?
Donato's is a national
oven?
chain.
What
You
is
can't
that?
fool me.
I don't have Donato's. I have a Domino's.
Donato's is
I got it
better
from
than
this.
Domino's. I have
I got
both.
the best fast
restaurant next
casual
to
pizza
Domino's.
place. The best fast casual pizza place by far, and I'll fight anyone on this, by far, is Papa John's.
Stop it! He's trolling. Don't listen to him, y'all. He's
by
trolling.
far.
There are a lot of
trolling.
people
By far.
that really love Papa
By
John's
far.
for some reason, but their sauce is very spicy.
Christian is not one of them. He is a troll. He
By
knows
far.
that
Sauce
it's the
itself.
word.
By
I don't
far.
like their sauce.
By
No,
far.
this leads to okay. This is a fun thing for the little Nat One Heroes plug because my Banner Park like one shots. I have one planned where the city's like gangs are all pizza chains and they're all having like you got Papa John the mafia boss.
I want to be Little Caesars, even though it's not particularly good. So just
Oh,
say,
Little
yo,
Caesars.
pizza.
Little Caesars is the guy no one
Jared
cares
knows
about.
Donato's. See?
Little Caesars
I
is the
didn't make
most
it up.
clutch pizza ever. Because if you are broke,
Oh yeah.
yo, you are feasting for $5.
I think we've all been there where
do
we're
you
like,
know-
oh my god, I have a $5. Yes.
I've changed my answer. I have a different favorite pizza. My favorite pizza is this thing that could loosely be called pizza that my husband makes, where he takes jumbo crescent rolls in the can and
I do that.
flattens it out and makes
Yes.
a pizza crust, and then puts the sauce and cheese and like actual real sausage and shit on top.
What? He doesn't roll it?
I've done that.
Yep.
I like to
No,
roll it.
you don't need to roll it. It doesn't change anything.
I
So
like to
I
roll it 'cause it
discovered-
looks cool.
I discovered an
Oh, yeah,
atrocity
that's the reason.
at the supermarket.
Yeah.
So if you are so desperate as to make a frozen pizza, you can now buy frozen pizza from Chuck E. Cheese.
What's wrong with frozen
No.
pizza?
Really?
You can get Chuck E. Cheese frozen pizza at the store.
Now hold on one moment before everybody jumps in here. Have you?
Okay,
when's
but to get the real effect-
hold on. When's the last time y'all went to a Chuck E. Cheese? Because I went there for like a nephew's somebody's birthday party or some shit. They definitely stepped their game up. All right,
10 plus
before
years
y'all
It's not
make
even bad
jokes,
pizza.
it's not
Is it-
bad.
Is it great pizza? It's fucking Chuck E. Cheese. What are you
I wanna say
expecting?
this
Like
was
a
probably maybe
3-star
8 or
dining
9 years
experience?
ago.
It's good though.
Yeah,
Like
it's
in
been
the
too
last
long.
like 3 or 4 years, they just said, you know what? We're giving Wi-Fi for the adults. The pizza's not gonna suck. We're gonna rinse off the rides more frequently. Like they have changed their
Rinse
game.
off
And then
the
COVID
rides.
happened.
Their wings are good too.
Like they have fucking food now.
Do you
Also,
know
All right,
whose-
we're taking a field trip. Taking a field trip to Chuck E. Cheese.
Christian, do you
Chuck E.
know whose
Cheese.
wings are surprisingly good from an otherwise mediocre restaurant?
Who?
Fazoli's.
I agree with you. We have a
That's so
Fazoli's.
weird. The
we
rest
have a
of their
Fazoli's
food
across the street
is
from them.
not that good, but I got
What is
their
this?
wings once to try, and it was like, oh, okay.
I'm in the
Yeah.
wrong part of the country. I've never heard of these places. Like
Oh.
Fazoli's.
Yeah, that's the Midwest thing.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
guess so.
Midwest thing. Ow.
Fazoli's is like the least Italian restaurant that you could ever go to.
That's
It's
an
fast food
Italian restaurant?
You have some in Colorado. Yeah.
I thought Olive Garden was the least Italian restaurant you could go to.
No, it's even worse than Olive Garden.
Don't slander Olive Garden. Come on now.
Slander the shit out of Olive Garden.
You got to remember, Olive Garden was like the upper echelons of what I was getting like once a year.
Mhm.
Like that was go out, put on a nice tie.
Yeah,
Christian sat down at the table. He waited for the guy to pull his chair out.
There was a time in my life when I thought the Applebee's was a very fancy restaurant.
Leftover spaghetti, Texas toast, garlic bread, mozzarella, make a grilled cheese sandwich. You're welcome. Actually,
holy fucking
I've done that
shit,
before.
Andre.
Yes, I've done that before. It's good.
I hear you though, like with chain restaurants. When like I grew up with a big family, and so like we never went out to eat, and so like when it was rare for a big family celebration and stuff like that, like it was like a bigger deal. And then you get older and you go, oh, Olive Garden isn't that nice. Apparently, I'm surprised.
It was nice for us.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
it was nice for me. I don't know about anyone else, but
it was.
I've learned how to cook a lot of Italian food since I've become a grown up, and I can make better stuff in my kitchen than Olive Garden makes.
I would hope so.
And that's not even like me trying to talk myself up. It's just that Olive Garden really isn't that great.
Well, I mean, it's not, but I think it's kind of like
once
I don't know. I'm in
the
East Coast. I'm in the East Coast, and Olive Garden is kind of like an Italian Denny's. But when I was in,
oh my god,
that's what we're gonna call it.
Why is that so accurate? Hey, Denny's food is good.
No, it's not.
It's not even like Denny's has bad breakfast food. If you order anything besides breakfast, it's terrible.
No, their burgers smack. If you just got out.
No. They have good burgers, and they have this pot roast sandwich that is to die for.
I disagree. Their burgers fall apart. They have buns that fall apart.
I agree.
That's because the burgers are a pound and a half each.
And I likes that shit.
Then I would say Red Robin's where you go for burgers because it's actually less expensive and better.
Red Robin's.
No, Red Robin's is garbage. They overcook their meat.
The Double Haystack Tavern something or whatever, like the Tavern Double or whatever.
Red Robin, yep.
It's real tasty. I like it.
But it ain't a Red Robin on every corner like there is a Denny's.
That's true.
Every time I've gone to Red Robin's, they've burned my food.
Denny's is
burning, motherfucker.
Denny's is like Waffle House or Friendly's. It's like if you've had something to drink and you're out with friends and you have nowhere to go and you need to like eat some fries, that's the place you go.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, but Denny's isn't even 24-hour anymore over here.
There was this hilarious video that I saw of some gay guy walking up to the thing and seeing bottomless and going, "It won't do," and then leaving. It was great. Oh man. They have good fries though, and their seasoning, like the red seasoning, is
You're talking about Red Robin?
Yeah, it's not even bad.
Yeah, it's
you can get that shit in a container.
It's Lowry seasoning salt with a little sugar in there. They ain't slick. I take it off the first fucking blast.
Yeah.
Oh,
you took a bite. You go,
yeah.
That's Lowry seasoning.
You think a black man ain't gonna recognize some Lowry seasoning salt from a mile away? You got me fucked up.
You know, that was one that my dad always used at home growing up. He put seasoned salt on everything.
It's better. It's just better.
It's really good on French fries. Like
hell yeah. That's why fucking Red Robin fucking picked that shit up and said, "Let me make my own shit."
Yep.
They got great ranch too. At least the location that I'm at, they have great ranch.
So Christian, didn't you earlier say that mayo is disgusting, but you eat fucking ranch? Like, what's the difference?
So I don't like warm eggs.
Okay.
But you're gonna take putrid fucking weirdo eggs? Like, what the fuck is ranch? Milk and what?
I think it's like milk seasoning.
Yeah, ranch is buttermilk and
buttermilk.
Mayo. Yep.
You don't understand. You don't understand. Christian's from Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
I'm also originally from Wisconsin. I understand
Culver's
the ranch.
cheese curds.
Okay.
Yes,
Culver's
I
cheese
love
curds.
my ranch.
You ain't never told.
Are you guys big on ranch?
I don't do ranch. I don't do ranch.
I thought that was just a California obsession
Culver's
with ranch
is
that
so
I don't
good.
have.
Mikey,
Like,
it's so
is that-
good.
Culver's will look you square in the face and say, Culver's will look you square in the face and say, "You want a burger and cheese curds and a root beer? $15." And you'll be like, "Yes, sir."
No,
Pretty much.
Oh, have you ever
Pretty
had
much.
their fucking concrete mixer, the chocolate one?
Yeah, I've
so
had
good.
the Oreo, the cookie dough. I've had a bunch of them. It's really tasty. I love their custard. It's really good.
It's so good.
They got medical grade cheese in fucking Culver's, man.
We have four of them bitches. We have 4 Culvers inside a town of 70,000 people. That's how much people love Culvers here.
Culvers, that's another one.
I'm dead serious. You have one on Milton, you have one on Central, you have one on West Court. It's literally crazy.
My favorite thing that I've ever gotten at Culver's is they do this mushroom Swiss burger, but it's got like mushroom gravy that goes on it.
Good. It's good.
And
I think
it's really messy, but it's delicious.
All right. I hate to interrupt all the talk, but I'm going to have to go to bed soon because I got to do psychiatry tomorrow. So
fun.
We're going to wrap it up.
Psychiatry?
I'm on my psychiatry rotation right now.
God.
So
I'm about to poach Mikey.
Yeah, everyone want to go around and shill your shit. You can do that.
Tell me I'm lying.
The problem is you aren't lying. That's the problem.
Well, I am moving and I am unemployed. So if you would like to visit my shop for spectacular products like that rainbow unicorn hat, I'm at the Hapless Haberdashery on Etsy.
Buy his hats. Larry makes good hats.
And is desperate, very desperate. I'll send you coupons.
Christian, what are you up to?
Nothing.
Same.
Cool. Spackle, what are you up to?
YouTube's a hobby for me, so when I'm live, I'm live, and when I'm not, I'm not. And so I don't have like a schedule I follow, but sometimes I do review videos, sometimes I do open panels, and sometimes I do interviews. And that's what I do. And I do some collab stuff sometimes occasionally. I was just on Savage Minnow's channel just earlier. You know, you just hang out, do online stuff. I don't take it very seriously, but if you show up, awesome.
Cool. Maya, what you got going on?
I don't know. I just follow people around. I take turns drinking and talking shit in the side chats because it's what I excel at.
We love having you. Mikey, what you got going on?
Oh, a little old me. I had to write them down so I didn't forget anything. All right, guys. On Sundays, you can catch me on Nat One Heroes, and you can check out our new campaign, Rhyme of the Frost Maiden, where Ben is the GM. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, you can catch me hanging out with Neil, the 604 Atheist, where I'm his producer. Wednesdays, you can catch me on Dig on America, which is our political talk show. And then Thursday is the Bin Podcast, where me and my international friends wrap up the week's politics and news articles and generally make fun of each other. So pick a day. I'm on.
You're busy.
Cool. Y'all already know my shit if you're here. B has open mics on Wednesdays at 8:45 Eastern time. So show up there this Wednesday. And with that, B usually does his little thing. I'm just going to say, don't be a dick. Have a good night.
Night.
Hey,